Yeah, well, Prof here, and I was supposed to be cleaning up the room here, and finishing repairing some headphones. Can't do those yet, but I could do the foam on the V7s and my V6s from Sony. But instead, after that recent video, oh, I totally forgot the extension. We had the recent video on the Wiha Central Fix Slim, where I also covered what would be probably like my favorite Dewalt extension. Is this the open one? Yeah, look, the Central Fix Slim right here. And that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole of, I knew that Dewalt made a version of my favorite bit extension from them without the magnet part. Much less good, in my opinion. But that reminded me of the Central Fix Slim. Then some of you in the comments reached out and said, hey, in the US, we actually have the Central Fix Slim. It's just called the Slim Fix. And I'm like, that makes way more sense because the Central Fix Slim is not a Central Fix. All right, so let's move the cases out of the way. These are empty. Oh, I did order the cable for the previous video, which would have been the Sony MDR 7510s. Shipped to the US, it was $40 after tariffs and shipping, and I think it was only ready for this cable, replacement cable, 15 USD. The rest of that $35 was $15 in shipping, and the rest was tariffs. I want to say it might have been half and half there. Either way, I basically paid as much in tariffs as I did in shipping, and almost as much as the dang product because of how much we have on Canada right now. Even though, mind you, this product is made in Canada, right? Or the cable from this. The other thing I found out is there is a US company that makes replacement ends with the screw-on adapter for Sony. B&H Photo and Adorama sell them for $8 a pop. So I ordered 2 of them. Also, we went over on the cable. Well, why'd I order it $40 for a pair of headphones that I spent $42 or $43 on? That's crazy. Right, remember these go for like $150 new, and they go for more now because they're effectively unavailable, at least from my experience. Cable. Why did I get the cable from, especially if I can replace the connector, which I'm going to try first. Why did I get the cable? Well, you can order the replacement part from Sony. The cable is $80. Also, since I was on Sony's website, I wanted to go see if I could buy replacement ones of these. Yeah, with the green rings, like the official Sony ones that this would have originally had. See, look at the green rings. That adapter is $30 directly from Sony parts store. So yeah, the one from Shure is like $5 to $10 maximum. So we're gonna stick with the Shure ones. Once I get that connector replaced, I think I probably have one upstairs. But yeah, so yeah, despite paying more than the cable in shipping and tariffs, and almost as much in tariffs as I don't know if it's 100% with Canada right now or what. He added he as in Trump added 50% because of the wildfires. Yeah. So that is why I spent $40 shipped on the cable, is because I could get it in the US. I think there was some delay, like it wasn't a stock part, probably because this is a discontinued headphone. It probably shares with other headphones, I would imagine, though. As we showed, where this connector is the same as, now, granted, the V7s here have a straight cable. Can I put that in there, extended? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably why you can get it. It's just, you know, that headphone is no longer produced. So it's cheaper to buy, though, that one that somebody had. It looked like they parted out, like one of the ear cups was bad. So the rest of the headphone that was still good was being sold on eBay, parted out. So I bought one of the parts. Yeah. It was 30 something. It wasn't just $30. It's like 30 something dollars, and that's before shipping for that 3.5 to quarter inch. Okay, those I got zipped up, all nice and safe, so they can be good until I have time to deal with them. Let us take a look here. This is the existing stuff. Can't speak of the English. See if I have any drink left real quick. Thirsting. I'm thirsted. We're all out of drink. Alright. Here's what we're comparing to. Or going to be comparing to as we go through. Those are my main. Oh, I do have one for 1-inch insert bits as well. One of these little guys. But this is my main 2-inch, what do you call, power bit set. At least that's how I came to know them. And it's got like those adapters. It's got my favorite Dewalt extension in there. Wobble Dewalt. This can, usually if I grab this and the insert bits, we're good. Or depending on what I know we're doing, one or the other. This one, which you may have seen me, I might have to just put dabs of hot glue, just a little, because this outermost one falls out on a regular basis. This was one from Black Friday, available in this, I don't know what you want to call it, like it's two of these, basically. This snaps in there, and you can lock that. If I do this right, there you go. You can attach it like that. And I can't see anything because the light is going in my phone. So, see, it's attached properly and stuff. I don't know if I'm ever going to, like, unless I'm going someplace, I don't see myself doing that. I don't even tend to stack these together. They're just durable enough. I need to touch up the red there. Looks like something that dissolves paint marker. That happens. Yeah, what's this one specifically for is, well, I originally actually bought a Milwaukee because they have the taller boxes. Because if you take out the other side, a 6-inch bit does not fit in here. Whereas Milwaukee had sized theirs just a bit bigger, where a 6-inch bit or 6-inch extension would work. So now I made this one into my what do you want to call it? Like, these are the 3.5-inch bits, I believe, and then 6-inch bits and 6-inch extensions. Then we have the 3-inch, 3.5-inch extensions, and some random stuff. these just seemed handy. It's like a double-ended. Like if I were to just grab this set rather than having this other set with me, at least I can do Phillips and flat there, like an easy flipper. And then this is Phillips and Torx. That just seemed, I don't even know where I got those from. It just seemed super handy. I have, and then in here, this, I just need, this could always leave here, but that's my countersink. For wood countersink. Or chamfer. I think this one's technically a countersink. My metal ones you'd probably call a chamfer. But yeah, this would be the other one with these longer bits. So this guy's been pretty much set up this way for... They don't make that piece and haven't made it in years. That little white dust, that's from me. I added magnets on the underside to hold these. Otherwise, previously, you go like that and all of that would fall out. You can put insert bits in here as well. I used to carry, they're like double-ended drywall ones. I haven't seen them in ages. And they don't have much, tooth on them. Yeah, you can see this even has a impact rated, this size extension in there to, most times this will get things done. And then this, you break this out if it's something you need to poke in further, or you need bigger sizes, longer extensions. So the one downside is, like I said, this outer one. I think I just need to put a little dab of hot glue right there, maybe over here or something, or in between there, just to prevent it from slipping out. You can fit extra insert bits because they made this long enough that you can fit a 6-inch and an insert bit. So I have some maybe specialty insert bits can go up there. I didn't fully fill this out. It fit exactly what I needed for now. But that is not why we're here today. Why we're here today is I have 2 bags. Oh, and then we have the Centrofix Slim. Oh, opening the wrong side. Which, in my opinion, is not a Centrofix. And I showed how the actual mechanism on this is basically the same as the Dewalt. And I wondered if they are possibly OEM'd by the same company. Let's play the game of I just stick my hand in and pull out stuff. All right, we can do these 2 first. All right, I wanted some so use the 1X. I wanted some carpenter's pencils. I don't have any. I generally use mechanical pencils. Works fine. Or I use a scribe. Some stuff we've been doing the last year or so, especially around the house, more carpentry related. It would have been nice to have carpenter's pencils. For the most part, just been using my mom's because a brand, there's like a US brand on Amazon. That sells them. I had a whole bunch of them bookmarked as kind of like, oh, I'll pick them up one of the times when it goes on sale, and I never did. And now, as far as I can tell, they effectively do not exist. And I don't go to Lowe's very often. A lot of you are probably gonna be like, yeah, those are the ones you are literally showing us right now have like always been there. And maybe they have. Maybe they have. Wish list. The weird HDR broken thing when resuming from monitor sleep still isn't fixed in Windows, I can tell you that much. Literally having that issue right now. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Pencil, pen. What? Astro Tools. Okay, somebody clarified to me that Astro Tools step bits are actually China. Yeah, Central Fix Force, which I really want, is $80 friggin' dollars. Hell no. I'll have to find a cheaper way. It's like $30 for a standard Central Fix in the US. Lists. Shopping list, maybe? Yeah, okay. RevMark. Here you go. Here you go. I bought my mom pink ones because they had them last year, year before last, for like breast cancer stuff. She's always bought pink because I hate pink things, and then that's become her thing over time. Because other people hate pink things too. But they had RevMark had all of these like jumbo pencils, printed ruler on them, useful stuff like that, right? And like red lead and round pencil, all that's just gone. I added that December of 2024. Yeah, so it would have been last year that I probably bought her the pink ones. Well, I was going to get myself, because I'd been using, I might have been stealing a pink pencil or two. And turns out when they're pink, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, I'll put it back. But yeah, so I went to go buy high-vis green, high-vis yellow, whatever. I preferably high-vis yellow. Couldn't find them. Brand's effectively gone. Well, there's a little end cap at Lowe's that has like all these sort of writing utensils. They have no Milwaukee. And what that does is Milwaukee has pretty much tried to replace like Sharpie and every other brand. The ink saws are actually great compared to using Sharpies for what you use an ink saw for. I think they had like was it a Lowe's brand ink saw, or it might have been a Dewalt trying to do it. I really think that was just because they don't carry Milwaukee at Lowe's and they wanted a similar product. I can try it to see if it's as good. The ink saw was the first permanent marker that was actually better, in my opinion, for building things, like writing on not normal surfaces that you would use a Sharpie on, than Sharpies were. They don't dry out nearly as fast. They write when wet. They write on wet surfaces. They do all this, stuff that a Sharpie would fail to. Even the industrial Sharpies. Well, they had Dixon. And Dixon, that may seem similar, right? Well, if we flip it over and we zoom on in, Dixon, Ticonderoga. Now, why? Here's something else that hit me. I'm looking at these, and then they had normal color. They obviously had cheaper ones that were store brand. Oh, cheap pencils. Just don't go well in my book. Oh, here, I love this. Jumbo finishing pencils, crayon. Yeah. Some other. That's Franck. But yeah. So Dixon, quality, actually a pencil brand too. Like we actually have, rather than a lot of them like the store-bought ones, they're always like bad. But Dixon has some hope of being good, right? Those RevMarks were pretty good because they actually used like good wood in them, good lead. They they went through what products they used, that sort of stuff. I believe those were made in the USA. Dixon, though, Ticonderoga especially, around here, has been like, oh, you got to get Ticonderoga. You got to get... Well, looking at the package to see if these were U.S. made, which they're not. These specifically are Fabrique in China. Right there, made in China. What did I see? Well, that's why. Right there. That is why it was always like, oh, you got to use Dixon, you got to use Ticonderoga. Turns out, another major brand from this area. About an hour away from me, roughly. in a different direction than I was going. I went, you gotta go, Lowe's is quite a drive for me as well. But today, I shouldn't even say today, over the week, I was searching based on this guy, trying to find out what the heck this guy was, right? And trying to buy more. Turns out they haven't been available new in ages. You can, I don't even think you can get the kind, like the stock one that comes like that anymore. They have a new version of that. But, yeah, you have to slide this guy up, otherwise it bends it all weird, I realize that. That doesn't fit there, that doesn't fit there. It has to go here. It used to go on top of this, but it, oh, I guess it might want to do that now. Wasn't wanting to do that before. So then it has to go like this way, which poses an issue height-wise because it goes over these bumps here. Really needs to go, yeah, perfect. Yeah, like what's this for? That's for, this Milwaukee one is kind of like rubbery, so it can slip over most other brands. But yeah, so Dixon, Ticonderoga, you know, Wisconsin, Appleton, Wisconsin. So that is why I have a feeling around here we have a penchant for that brand. It's because they're from around here. Turns out that stool place, or if you guys saw a stool I fished out of the dumpster along with my my toolbox, that Craftsman toolbox, that is a company, I think it was like GWB, might sound right. That is Green Bay. They still make it to this day. The brand has changed because I think they become a bigger company. Like they still have that stool as one. That industrial stool is one of the main ones. I emailed them. Hopefully we'll have an update on this. They said they can get parts for me. I would just have to drill out the rivets. And I'm like, I already know that. And I can do that. So there's a chance I can get a new top for that stool. Because I saw on their site that they sell replacement parts. And I'm like, it should be pretty common that people would want a replacement top. So I emailed them back last week. I'll probably have to poke them again. Oh, the other thing. Here's another thing I found out while I was there. I had not seen, I thought Channel Lock had discontinued this 336. Now this is technically an E336. I don't know what the difference is, to be truthful. But this was at Lowe's. I saw on the packaging that lifetime warranty, indeed. So when I got home, what I ended up doing is going and taking a look. I found the receipt. I bought this guy for a gift for myself on my birthday one year in 2015. So we'll see if Channel Lock honors their warranty. They say to go through your retailer first. However, Home Depot does not sell this model anymore. Lowe's does, but Lowe's won't warranty Home Depot stuff. So you can go through Channel Lock. They need a picture of the issues. So I gotta shine the flashlight through the backside so you can see that most of it doesn't touch. And it never has. So we'll see. Maybe they can redeem themselves. Like I said, the other one I have from them, really sharp. They have like an extended head one that's like skinnier even and then longer. I may actually, if the warranty for this goes well, I'm saving that model. Like I said, Channel Lock has this weird stuff. Knipex, being very German, may want to make like perfect versions of stuff and very, very, very optimized designs. Channel Lock seems to be like, hey, people have wanted this wonky thing, or we thought of this wonky design. Let's put it out. Somebody's probably got a use for it. What hit this? Something smacked this real good here. And took the finish off. I haven't used this thing enough for that to actually... Is this one of the days when the cats knocked it off? Yeah, I have this really strong Okay, you guys see those are really strong. I mean, you probably can't see that they're very strong, but they're very strong magnets. Buy those if you want to put stuff up on your wall. Make sure you put anchors in your wall. Those have concrete anchors in them. Just a heads up. Home Depot, garden section. Garden section. But get those. There's a reason why I have 4 of them. I bought one, was so damn good, I nearly immediately bought another. And then as soon as we got the second workbench over here, I bought 2 more immediately and put them up there. The only reason why it doesn't have more than, like, I could probably get a third one, but that's like behind the monitor there. It kind of extends behind the door then over there too. But I'm going to try warranting these, and then if these get warranted and they come back good, I might buy that one. It's like a super skinny long. It's not like they call it extended, but it's not extended here. It's like extended here. Very interesting. But yeah, I saw these still on sale. At least the 336 is. I don't know about the E336. Lifetime warranty though. So we'll see if Channel Lock can redeem themselves. I still think that they should have caught that with QA. Because every #1 job of any wire cutter is to be able to cut wire. But yeah, so that's progressed. I actually have the RMA page open for them. I also remembered when I was doing that, hey, Gerber never got back to me when I emailed them the replacement they sent me for the and why did the EAB come up? They never replaced my replacement EAB that was also, what do you want to call it? The replacement for the replacement was, also bent. Why did I think about that? Well, Lowe's was selling Gerber EABs, and no, that's not what I'm getting out of here. That would be kind of funny. What I was looking for. Most of this are going to be done grab bag style, but I didn't have a sharpener for this, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll bring our sharpener. Yeah, I'm usually the one that uses a utility knife. But I thought, especially because I have the round ones, and this one, as far as I could tell, I was also amused by how long that blade was. I have quite a few sharpeners. I was wondering, they come in handy, especially when you start doing like art pencils, because they get like real fat lead or real fat bodies or all sorts of stuff like that. And then I did buy a US. It wasn't Revmark didn't make it. I forget who made it, but oh my gosh, they put the icky sticker for this not inside the icky plastic, but on the out. Why wrap it with plastic if you're going to put the UPC code in some horrible... I'm seething right now. Seething. Legitimately seething. This is going to... I'm going to have to get the glue gun out. This is one of those nasty ass stickers that leaves fucking residue. And you can see it peeling up. If you're gonna wrap this piece of shit in plastic, just like that sticker, put the freaking UPC sticker on the plastic. So when I unwrap it, it comes with. Who do I need to murder? As Squares would say, Elliot, you don't need to murder anybody. I feel like I need to, okay? Okay. That's just a mess, too. Okay, so I got one of these out. Okay, these come this shaped. Put that in there. Then we have Jumbo Finishing Pencil. This reminds me of the Jumbo Ticonderoga My First Pencils. which actually I can go and get from my pencil drawer. Oh, you have a pencil drawer? Yes, I have pen drawers. So why wouldn't I have a pencil drawer? Now this should then fit, bada bing. If you notice, it was kind of like an octagonal one right there. I'm assuming that they're assuming that not all the jumbo ones are round. They might be octagonal, so they don't roll around. Interesting thing. And why did I get the jumbo finishing pencil? Sometimes you want the eraser, sometimes you want the like a more standard pencil. Number 2 soft lead for broad lines and broad and smooth lines. A number 2 pencil is the equivalent of HB. HB is like as mid as you can get. Like, for example, for drawing, we were taught on 4B. And you're like, well, why? Well, we were basically taught with, here's all your pencils, buy all those and then a pack of 4Bs. Because you basically, if you can learn to sketch and draw using a 4B, then you can learn to utilize the other hardnesses of the pencil. Like, you should be able to take, maybe not the softest lead, but one of the softest leads, or one of the softer leads, and make the light line with that. Kind of like, only once you get the ability to do that, then you get to use because you get even more control, basically. And our teacher actually swore by that. This is how he was taught in like the 70s, right? If we go all the way back. And he's like, realistically, only when I need to do very specific stuff would he use anything but like charcoal, like that grade of charcoal or that grade of pencil, unless it was something very specific or having to do it afterwards or something like that. Because you just get used to varying your, how sharp it is, how hard you're pushing, the angle. This is a really long pencil. Like, that's a freaking really long pencil. Oh, yeah, let's take it. Oh, Kitten took the chair. Paisley, you're not supposed to sit on my chair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what's up. Yeah, you want to watch anime because we're already into 4 a.m. Okay, here's the pencil drawers. This is what I was talking about. Well, okay, we got for marking things up, we got a Ticonderoga red. Yes, because I went to school when you still had to mark up your classmates. Is that what you would want to say in college? I don't know. High school as well. Like, you would critique and check your classmates' work, and I don't think you guys can't smell through that camera, but this kitten is insane. Paisley, there is literally no width on the back of this chair, which is why you're falling. Yep, and she's gonna climb me with her claws because she's falling. She wants attention, guys. She does not think we should be making this video right now. But basically, if you've ever kept pencils, like proper wood pencils, in a drawer, you should know how that smells. Now she's sliding off. Basically 2 of those are in use. The black ones. Did they get buried? Yeah. My first Ticonderoga. There you go. My first Ticonderoga. I learned to use these from, I believe it was my physics college professor. We're going to grab the longer one. I don't know if these are as long as they could be. But that was the first time in college I saw him using this. And I'm like, is that the kids? Is that like the elementary school pencil? He's like, yeah. My hand after all these years and stuff is quite he's like, Paisley, you're digging your claws into me. Holy bloody shit. Oh. Yeah. Look at her sassy ass. This video's gonna be a long one, so hopefully you guys lock in. There you go. I said this was long, but I've sharpened these a couple times, and they probably came factory sharpened. So I would say that my first time, like these Dixons, just feel longer because they've never been sharpened before. These come sharpened once. HB2, yeah. So when they say this is soft lead, this is lead. This is the lead of all leads. Yeah, and this might be a cheaper way actually. On these jumbo finishing pencils, this might be a cheaper way because these My First pencils are sold in like one pencil, if I recall correctly, or maybe two packs, 1 or 2 packs. You have to. I bought them just at Walmart after he told me about this, but he was saying, yeah, and I tend to prefer the thicker. You know, if we're gonna go with a tactile turn, I like the standard body, or often I'll even get the thick body. That my hand just prefers a wider. It is more comfortable. Some people like squares want the slim one, and I can do that, but my hand will cramp up more, right? So I kind of took that from it, and I was like, oh, I literally never thought about that. And he's like, yeah, my kids were using them, and I'd help with the homework, and he's like, it was just better. It also makes a longer pencil too, so if you want to do stuff, you know, like further out like that. But yeah, he's like, so I was using that, and I just realized, like, wow, I prefer these. And he just kept using them once his kids like outgrew the My First pencil, so he just bought those. And then I took his thing from him, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, why not? If what you're doing doesn't require a lot of precision, and if I'm going to do a lot of precision, I'm going with a mechanical pencil. I think I bought like about 4 of these. The 2 I have left are the ones, you know, that I have left from. There are some things that still a non-mechanical pencil is better at. So they're in my drawer of pencils. What you saw in that drawer is the new stuff, like the replacements. If we went into my backpack that has my pens and pencils in it, like what do you call it? A pencil case? Is it called a pencil case, Paisley Marine? I think it is. If you take a look at the pencil case, there'd be a red one in there. Probably 2 of My First Ticonderogas and 1 of the black Ticonderogas. Then if we go over to some more of those black Ticonderogas, I do use for because I didn't have any carpenter's pencils. Now these can be actually very useful getting a very straight line. You can actually like bevel them in certain ways. The ruler ones I thought would have been really useful, but I'm glad I could get some high vis yellow. They were in a spot that said high vis green. Huzzah! I want to say these are like 30 something cents a pop, and you got a discount when you bought a box of 10 for like $3. So I just did that, and then I bought the sharpener. It didn't look like an amazing sharpener, but what it did do is it sharpened both the carpenter pencil, right? And to be truthful, I'll probably do this side first because I don't care about the UPC. And it did the fat pencil. Whereas a lot of these for carpenter pencils only do carpenter pencil. So, to be truthful, I will probably get out 2 of each because I like having. Often at work, I carry 2 pens, usually with. I've been over that in my pen videos. If you guys haven't seen that, I carry 2 pens with different lead in them. So I will have 2 of those sharpened up and ready to go, just in case you break when you grab another one. Often on a project, I'd probably grab 1 of each of these just in case. or, you know, if it's something else. Sometimes you just want multiple carpenter pencils because you don't want to have to track down where your carpenter pencil currently is. Like, oh, did I leave it on that ladder? And then you pick it all up at the end. At least from my experience. I don't know about the newfangled mechanical carpenter pencils yet. Ew. You guys will have to give me your thoughts on those. The new Milwaukee one, that's probably so they don't have to have the Ox tools or, you know, some of the other competing brands at Home Depot. Really looks like they did do a lot of Milwaukee either knocks it out of the park, or their first iteration of something is literally them just making something to like have one of them that has the Milwaukee brand on. And to me, that's what the first mechanical pencil from them looks like. I was watching John Malecki's channel. Not that they're the best on everything. They're definitely not. They very obviously, in many cases, use things wrong. But they were showing when you pull it out, you pull the cap off that holds the lid. I'm like, oh, that's fucking useless. We're not going to crack this one open. I just thought this was interesting. A Sharpie Pro. It's called the Mean Streak. Adheres to virtually any surface. Kind of like there's those. They're not even like paint pens. It's like a step up from. There's like the chalk that you would mark lumber. Is it chalk or is it grease pencil? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. You'd mark lumber. It's been a long time since I worked at Home Depot. Let's put it that way. Mark lumber or done that sort of work. Mark lumber and or metal. I think it's grease pencil potentially, or it comes in. Looks like Craypos. I guess that would be a grease pencil. So there's like paint pens. I have some of the white and the yellow Milwaukee. The yellow for me died really, really fast. The white's been working great. I bought another yellow one. Maybe it was just an early one. It dried up real fast. You can't use them like a paint marker though, because paint markers are very juicy. That's how I put these nice lines on this right there. You know, very juicy. They're not really, you know, they're emulating a chalk or a paint, chalk or an oil marker. Literally this thing and then they advertise on the back. This is not back here, which I find hilarious. So I picked this up just because Sharpie's various products are interesting. It looks like you advance it like a glue stick. Anybody use these before? Professional permanent marker, but it's white. Like I said, this was interesting. I like to mark things. Yeah, not always with a label maker either. You've seen me use whiteout. You know, is this a less precise option to the whiteout? The whiteout I gained from that would have been Adam Savage was showing the specific whiteout I use, but then is it Nystaff? Loan for Vlogger, various short films and movies. He also did that sort of stuff because it turns out whiteout, it dries very, very quickly, like boom. Still don't have a paint pen or anything like that dries that quickly. So, and the one that Adam Savage recommends, which I don't have over here, I don't think, is very precise for a whiteout. I've gone through many a tubes to the point where when I got my on-site job that I was at previously, I made them buy me like a 3-pack. Then other people started using it too. Oh, I totally forgot about these. I think somebody said these are either a knockoff or somebody that originally did this design licensed it to Lowe's or to the company that makes it for Lowe's to be made. But these are very similar to this. So we're going to crack this open and use them to open things up from here on out. I'll probably use the blue one. Oh, and for those of you that are like, oh, it's so hard to open this sort of what, it's not called blow mold packaging. My brain is reading. Get yourself a utility knife though with a sharp edge, and you go right at the seam, and then yeah. Wow, they're light. They are metal. I think it says they're aluminum. So it's like an even more simplified version of this. How do you get the blade out? Lift up. Yeah, I don't see how you get the blade out. Let's see if the packaging can tell me. Yes, it has easy blade extension and retraction. Okay. But how blade go out? Doesn't seem to want to go because it's stopped right there for safety. There's a tab right there. You take that screw out. That's, I would like to iterate again. Okay. Tuck HD. Blades out. Blade second step out. Blades out. And they had this whole sticker that it wrecked the finish on my original one of this mat, which they should get rid of because you just push it in there. You just push it under the magnet, basically. That's a magnet. And then you slide it forward, slide it back, slide it forward, boom. Sometimes it stops at that notch, and then you have to slide it back, slide it forward, slide it back, boom, down. That is how easy it should be to change this blade. I'm literally not seeing how this blade, and they don't say. When it's back, it's under this tab. This tab is a metal spring. Instead of using magnets like that, they're using the spring to force this up and into grooves right there. The reason why we can't get this out, though, is because there's a tab that stops that right here. And you can we lift it over that? Maybe. Let's try not on the blue one. Let's try on the... Okay, so yeah, you do just lift it up. You're like, why did you try it on the silver one and why did it work right away? This is probably natural color for whatever aluminum. Like they're probably using that cast aluminum because they do say aluminum alloy body. Yeah, it's probably a cast aluminum based on the texture there. The blue is going to have a thicker coating, more than likely, like a powder coat. Oh, that you get. I'm sure it'll wear in. You gotta be real careful there. I think these were like $10. There's the little spring. Springa. And all it's doing is, and if you need, if it ever gets loose, just bend it more towards you. Done. I think, like I said, that it has a patent number. I think somebody who made this for EDC ended up licensing this to Lowe's. I remember reading something about that someplace. You're like, where's that someplace? See, that's a good question. My memory... An internet. There you go. It was on an internet. A little fiddly to get it in there. This is the first one, even over Bob the Box Cutter, I would say. Ooh, I wonder if it can use Fisker's blades. Do I have the Fisker's blades around here? Who would have a Fisker's blade in it? Nothing in this room right now. The reason why I'm asking about the Fisker's blade, probably can't use them. Once again, even though I think the Fisker's blades are the best. Where this comes out, bang in the middle, and it's a square hole, I would not be surprised if this would go straight into that hole. I'd have to try. But for $10, and it's a 3-pack, if you got some friends and you want one, buy the pack, take the blue one, and gift out the silver and the black. Or in this case, get one for your office. Probably for the office, either the silver or the black. Then get one for the tool bench, probably the other one of these, and then stick one of these out in the garage for breaking down boxes. Yeah, I still prefer that, but maybe I can get good enough to advance it all the way on one. Blade still does not stick out as far. There you go. And that's even with quite a lot of this one being blocked off. Most times, though, you're going to want to use that one probably for opening boxes. This one for breaking your boxes down. Light enough on a keychain. It seems to lock up back. Yeah, because that singular tab they have in there is also what prevents it from going forward. I'll probably put little lanyards through the lanyard loop. Kind of like this guy right here. And just not without the bead worth more than the 3 of them combined. The other way you could do this is, since this doesn't have a magnet, right there, I bet you money that's exposed steel. I'll grab the blue one for the one, yep. So you could put a magnet right there and then just magnet this shit on stuff. Let's see, does it still work? Sure does. So yeah, get yourself a thicker, and I might do that as well. Get yourself a, because if you get yourself a standard, ooh, we might be able to do a standard button style magnet. I think I'm out. No, I'm not. Maybe I ordered more. Thought I was out because I put them all in that Dewalt holder you guys just saw. Here. Get you guys one of these. I probably should cut up this video into the various tools. Get yourself one of these, like that. Right like that. Could even put a dab of super glue on there if you want. And then watch this. Boom. Need it? See, that's why I want your dab of super glue. But yeah, I wonder if anybody actually makes like an official product for that. Because you can make something that, like, you take that screw out and then you screw it in that holds it down. That'd be great. But yeah, I think a little magnet on the back side of here would be. Yeah, you could even do a wider one, because it's got a lot of room here. If you do the width left to right, you would have a lot more pull, right? You definitely still need like a dab of super glue, dab of epoxy. I don't even know if dab of super glue is enough, because that's smooth metal against smooth metal. You might have to use a dab of epoxy. So you're gonna have to get it used to though. Like I immediately was like, "Where's my button?" Because I'm used to button press, right? And that goes straight out to the. Whereas these, it's very simplified. So for $10 for 3 of them, I'd say that's pretty darn good. I will have to figure out what people are doing mod-wise to these, or like from the original design of them. But yeah, I think a magnet back here, maybe a little bit wider one, or if somebody makes like even a screw down thing that's real cheap, like, or maybe I can get it 3D printed, like a little housing that goes right there, because then you can just slap it on the side of your toolbox, slap it on. You probably have something metal in your garage. You can hide. You want stuff. Remember, I've said this a lot. You want stuff where, hey, I can slap it there or clip it there. Then every time I need a knife in this location, I can go and get a knife, right? That's what you want. And you can stash them everywhere. For example, bought this when Sears was closing down. Craftsman on the end. These aren't the best, but they're on the end of there. They're on the end of there, and I have one clipped on the toolbox. And I think there was one in this bag, and there's one. Oh, hey, there's my V6s. I thought those were still behind the door. There's one back here someplace. Yeah. There you go. Gold one. Dewalt blade? Yep. And those would have been purchased back when I was using the EAB. So the fact that those are quick change blades is good. And that was a gold. I think that one's a silver, that one's a black, and I think the other one's a different color. So that way, if we found it elsewhere, right, you knew where that color needed to go back to. Also, my friends, rather than having to ask me for whatever tuck I'm running, or the time EAB out of my pocket, they always knew there's a knife right in these locations. And it's still there, as you can see, because though I have many nicer knives, those have kind of always just lived there, and they will stay to live there. That's what you can do with these, relatively easy. I also showed in the past where you can get like a 6-pack for $20. I don't know if you still can, of like knockoff Gerber EABs. That's what we have right now in the toolbox, in the garage, in the kitchen. I got one on the side of a file cabinet in the storage room. I don't know if you can buy all the bright orange one. That's what I would have done. Then maybe use like paint pen to customize, like just put a dot of color on it for which room it's supposed to be in. But the bright fluorescent hunter orange. That way, like if you drop it in the garage, you're like, ah, that's a bright, sharp, dangerous knife. Let's just pull the rest of this out of here. Ooh. Save that for a bit. We've got a whole bunch of Dewalt extensions. And I think the other one, we're missing one. Might be. In there. Yeah, so we got those. Dewalt extension 1, Dewalt extension 2, Dewalt extension 3. Why did I get all 3? Because they're all useful. Technically, I think Milwaukee might have 4 sizes, actually. We got the Wiha Slim Fix. That might be ever so slightly different than the Centrofix. We'll find out. It's literally right there. Different? I think not. This makes way more sense, and this is $10, whereas this on like many percentages off from Germany was 20. All right. Let's do these guys first. You're like, what the heck? 2x in. All right. Why do you have random 2 packs of bits? Well, why I have random 2 packs of bits is because most power bits, that's why I brought this over here, are like this. I mean, they're not like this because this is double-sided. I love these double-sided Irwins. Until I cannot buy them, I will use them. And I should probably, I think I have one set now that is like brand new. These are almost brand new. Like they just got added a while ago. But I have one as like a backup, you know, when one of these does strip out eventually. I just find these really convenient. I really like them. This is only what is it? 15. So you could easily do 15, 20, 25, 30. That is what these are doing. Except this guy is a double 25. So you can, when you're really putting in a bunch of deck screws or something, you just grab that dude. And if it strips out, you just flip it over. Keep going. And this guy fits on that and holds screws. But if you notice, this goes from this side, T15, T20. Also, if you don't know what bit you need, this is really convenient because if you think it's a T20, but you're like, it could be a T15, you could just grab this one and you're kind of good. A lot of these make this end too long and it can't snap into most extensions and impact drivers. Whereas this one, hold on, does work. As you can see, how hard it was to take out. Now, don't expect the magnet to work well. And the reason for that is because the surface area here is so little, right? There's a lot of play there. But that's why most of these that hold impact bits, that's just an insert bit holder. They do work fine on this. Let me grab one. There, we'll grab this one, probably my most used one. That's in there currently, at least. Take this guy. Boop. Locks on perfectly fine. No wibble wobble, right? Ejects it. By the way, that's the direction it should work. I'm trying to put that. It's almost 5 a.m. Yeah. So why is this a big deal? Not even like necessarily a big deal. But why did I buy all these? Well, as you saw, this is T15 to T30. Most of the kits out there with power bits for and I can even pop this open as well. Most power bits, which are the 2-inch size, you might get a T25. Might get a T25. Usually, if you have Phillips too, you might get a T25. At most, you're gonna get your T15, which I special ordered this. This is a 3.5-inch bit, and then same thing with this. I think I had like one kit with a 3.5-inch T25, and have since ordered like a 5-pack of these, both these and these. These are the newer ones. The updated Shockwave have the little white lines on. This is an older one. This is T15.
The smaller sized GRKs use T15. The bigger ones all use T25. That's why I have those two. However, T25 or T15 through T30, pretty much, and I even had to go to my way to buy the 3.5-inch ones, right? This guy, T25, Phillips 2. So pretty much, if you get more than a T25, you're only getting T15 to T30. And I might have one bit here, there, or something. But what caught my eye at first was Spyder. They had, what's this? Fucking T50. They had a bloody T50. And then, of course, they had a T40. Well, then why didn't I get the T40? Looking at the kit, this coating on these Spyder bits comes off. I did a quick research online. People are very happy with the Spyder drill bits. They're very happy about the Spyder like cutting things. They're driver bits. Yeah. So what I did instead is I realized I don't have the Elite Series Dewalt. And, well, now I do, because these new extensions here are Elite Series. And I don't know if, maybe, I haven't been to Home Depot recently. Maybe they've swapped, maybe all Dewalt is now Elite Series. But I believe we've talked about before how there's like, even at Home Depot, there's 3 different Dewalt tiers. And somebody was saying that like possibly, like some of them are brand exclusive. So I don't know if like MaxFit's at, either MaxFit might be dead, or MaxFit is at Home Depot, and the better series, the Elite Series, is at Lowe's. But that is where I found these, and that is where I found this. We'll have those in a second here. But because I didn't hear great stuff about the Spyders, and as you can see, a lot of my kits are populated with, especially if I brought the insert bits, a lot of them are populated with DeWalt bits. Well, why is that? Well, it's because I buy the DeWalt cases. Well, I buy the DeWalt kits to get the cases, and those include bits. DeWalt bits are probably fine. I mean, they're fine. They're better than the Makita ones, which I stripped out. They're better than the Bosch ones, which are broken. Bosch drill bits can be quite good, but apparently Bosch makes Diablo, which is at Home Depot. So it makes sense that Bosch makes good ones. Also, Bosch is probably the only brand that makes Cobalt. Like, you can go and buy, not Cobalt, this Cobalt, but like C Cobalt. Drill bits that you can just buy a kit of at regular retailers. So I instead of going Spyder, also they're more expensive. Yes, they do give you 3 bits, but they're $7, almost $8 a piece, whereas these are like $5, $6. So I went, instead of, for the T10 and T40, I went with DeWalt. So now I have one on the other side of T10, I actually use quite often, on the other side of the T15, and I have one up from the other side of T15. Then from Spyder, I have this chonker here of a T50. And no, sadly, obviously that's not going to fit in here. This is kind of like my go-to kit anyway. I do have in here the weird, I think these are called ECS bits, ECX bits. That's for outlets and stuff like that. So I have that in here. Then I have some flats. Then I have my Craftsman extension in this one. The Hilti that is impact rated is in the insert bit box. This is my original 2-inch extension that came with my Allen, I believe, Allen Craftsman bits that were metric, like insert bits. It was crazy to have insert bits that were Allen back then. 2-inch one fits in right like that. It'll always be there. It has always been in that, maybe not that spot, but like, you know, in this area over here. Oh, here, there's DeWalt bits right here. Here's an old DeWalt bit. This is a SL8, I believe. Yeah, SL8, slotted 8. And then here's a MaxFit DeWalt. And that is an SL6. And that's why I have this guy in here. Not for the slotted. Normally it'd be for the Phillips and the Torx. I don't know why this guy doesn't want to go in here. But this is the collar that goes like that. And then it can hold your screws for you. I have enough DeWalt bits like everywhere that it's worth just keeping. This guy specifically is probably gonna be with something. But yeah, so these are even like the older DeWalts. And I don't use slotted. Like I try not to use slotted, especially like you're like, why would you have a DeWalt specifically in here? Like, why not Milwaukee? Milwaukee is not crazy enough to make a impact rated. You notice this is black? Yes, this is from when impact rated bits first came out. Like these Irwins that I like so much for the forged bits are actually technically not impact rated. The impact rated ones look like that. Still the blue thingy, but they're black. They do not fit as well. They claim that those are still forged bits. These fit so fucking well, but they don't have Torx. Because Torx was not even... We were still building decks and decking with Square 2 back then. And a lot of carpentry still to this day is done with Square 2, and a lot of it's actually Square 1. But yeah, so the reason why I have DeWalt in here is because DeWalt is the only one crazy enough to make impact rated slotted bits, at least from what I've seen. So that's why they're in here. That's actually why I originally bought one of these kits, was to get that. And if you're like, well, how does that magnet? Well, I put magnets on the bottom side, like a whack ton of them, and then hot glued them in like epoxy. Used hot glue kind of like epoxy. But that'll stay up there. It'll stay over here too. If I had specialty insert bits I wanted to put there. One of these kits that looked much like this. That's how I bought that. And how I bought this. And yes, I have plenty of these. I only have 2 that are impact rated though. Most of these wobble ones are not impact rated. Now, do I think it's going to last that long when impacting? Probably not. But being that I've had an impact driver, I don't want to say since they've been released, but since they became like a common thing, yeah, I'd rather not blow up my... I mean, like, even these, though. The quality bit, just because it's impact rated or whatever, it was just like a lot of really cheap, cheesy bits weren't. And people would just, as soon as the impact driver came out, they would slap like a standard, not even S2 steel bit, Phillips 2 in an impact driver and just rip stuff up, you know. So we got the T10, we got the T40, then we have the Spyder in this blue. Let me know, have you guys ever used the Spyder bits? I swear in the shop, I saw in some of the bit kits, like with the insert bits and stuff like that, where some of this blue coating was already coming off some of those bits. These bits reminded me fairly heavily of Makita. Their bit extensions looked a lot like Husky. So I don't know how much I trust their mock blue technology. 30% stronger than what, you know? Because I think Milwaukee claims like 25 times stronger. And the Shockwave, especially the new Shockwave bits, hoo-hee. But I also have literally, like, you guys have seen, if you go back to my other videos, I have like drawers of all these bits because I get them when I buy the cases. In most times, unless it's like those Irwins, either one's the Torx or the other guys, I would rather go through 25 shitty Phillips bits that I already have and then buy the good ones that I like. Like, why not use what I already have? You know, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've never seen in a 2-inch bit of T50. Let me know if you guys have. Right above in this area too, I was very confused. I was like, is this triple square? They call it 8-point. No idea. 8-point. Not 6-point like Torx, 8-point. Triple square, I guess, would be 12. So let me know what this is for. I bought it because I'll have it, and I'll have it in my kit, and if I ever run into it, I got one. But like, I don't know what this is for. No idea. But these will be expanding. They won't be in this little guy, you know, because there's no room, really. I need the slotted in there. The ECX is probably the only one that could kind of get like slotted around. These guys are too handy to have. Like, this is kind of like basic driver or enable me to use other driver setup, right? Because obviously these take insert bits, and I don't have the insert bits, but my other whole box is just insert bits, right? And then this guy over here, this is just mostly 3.5-inch bits, 6-inch bits, 6-inch extensions, and 3.5-inch extensions. Well, where these other bits are going to go is up here, or up here, or up here, or up here. Kind of like we have these guys down here filling in. Worst case, if these have to come out, these are just double-ended ones, or if I only happen to grab this case, these will get me, you know, slotted in a Phillips, or a Phillips and Torx. You know, like your basic sizes. This is the kind of thing that used to be snapped on the bottom of your drill driver back in the day before we had impact drivers, when everything was NiCad powered and nobody had screwdriver bits like this, or extensions really weren't standardized even. Like where you would put the like, if you guys are wondering, why did these extensions become a thing like this? Well, that's because you didn't have an impact driver that this was locking into yet. This would go straight into the chuck of your drill, and you'd only have to chuck it once, and then you would change out the insert bits. That's why. The other reason is it's way cheaper to buy a pack of like 25 insert bits than it is to buy a pack of 5, even 3.5-inch bits. So these guys are all going to get opened up and popped in, you know, up top on one of those sides over there. And I'll have access to a T15, a T40, kind of like in addition. Like it'd be very, very rare for me to have that. I mean, that's why I have those other bits in there, but it'd be very rare for me to have the long bit set without this one, you know. Or I have the 3.5-inch, right? So we got T10, T40. I hadn't seen these in person anywhere. And if you're running in any of the Dewalt kits, even the Elite Series Dewalt kits, these were not in there. That definitely wasn't in anything. Even the Spyder kits, from what I saw, that wasn't in. And I still don't know what that's for, but we got it. Here, let's... what is the Spyder Mach Blue 8-point bit used for? Heli-lock structural screws. I am not conflating anything. I have a Spyder Mach Blue bits that are 8 PT. Structural wood screws. Okay, apparently they're for structural wood screws. I don't know why you'd just not use Torx, or what we discussed recently, which was through iFixit, which was Torx Plus. Maybe it's some... I mean, like, back in GRK still does it. In every box of screws, they give you 1 bit. What's hilarious, though, is whether you buy a little tiny pack of screws, they give you 1 bit, or if you buy the contractor... You've seen me before, probably, with the contractor buckets, and that's not even the... You can buy one size bigger than the contractor buckets that I buy. We would not need that size. Often I do need more than like the little pack, though. Back when I used to get GRKs at Fleet Farm, rather than Home Depot, I would buy them in bulk. Like, they just had bins of them, and you just grab how, you know, and usually what I would do is I would buy the pack once, then fill up the pack. You know. You could get way better pricing on it. But then once Fleet Farm was bought out, that went. I mean, I could even buy the GRK structural screws, like the big honkers, for like in bulk, just much cheaper too that way. But yeah, hopefully you guys. I don't know. Let me know. Have you ever seen a T50 from a mainline brand that you can buy at a store? Like, I'm sure you could go on a Casey Tool and special order this from one of the German tool brands or something. I just never saw it in person. Much less that here. And most kits, I don't know that I have any. Otherwise, they'd probably be in one of my kits. But I don't know that I have 2-inch T10 or T40. So in that case, I could have gotten the Spyder ones. But they're a bit more expensive, and I don't have any DeWalt Elite series, so I thought I'd give those a shot. They look very similar physically to the newer Milwaukee's with how they're made. So 2x better flex torque. Yeah, 2x better fitment than Milwaukee. Does it say that on this? Because this comes with some actual bits. No. So that's a claim that the T40 has 2 times better fitment than Milwaukee. Milwaukee probably has a T40 if you custom special order it. Let me know if you're a T40 user and you can, test that. Flex torque zone. They've always been talking about this, where they purposely slim these down. Apparently helps with torque, rather than you would think just leave the whole bar rod stock there, which is what DeWalt used to do. Like, well, how do you know that? Here's how I know that. Oh, this one fell out again. I think the outer thing flexes. Here's how I know that, though. Because I have the old DeWalts that are literally just like, they do bar stock until they hit the tip. And in some cases, they do bar stock all the way. I would think that this is better, but apparently it's not. I can tell you that Makita got it wrong, because I bend their gold bits all day, every day. Because I think they made them too skinny in places. I don't think Milwaukee makes a 6-inch impact rated Phillips 3 or a 6-inch impact rated Phillips 1. Klein does. They got into making bits as well. For Klein, you either get a pack of Phillips 1 and Phillips 3 or a pack that has 2 Phillips 2s. So that's why I'm rocking Klein there. They're also very skinny, slender. So far, so good with those. And that's why that in this guy, the Milwaukee, as you can see here, because it's just like springy, fits over the Klein just fine, because it's just like a flexible rubber dude. Do I think it works as well as some of the ones that are specifically for something? No, it does not. But there's that. So gonna have some new definitely have some open spots in that bigger DeWalt there, and these are going to fill in some of these. One of each will go in there, and then I'll have one. We have 3 in the Spyders. Let me know what you think there. Most brands, I think, do a 2-pack. Irwin does a 2-pack. Spyder here, $1 more, $1 to $2 more. 3-pack. Thoughts? Also, have you used the Spyder bits? They look pretty cheesy to me. But all right, next thing on our list is this guy here. just bought 2 of these Centrofix Slims. All right, next guy is right here. Wiha Centrofix Slim. I like the Centrofix. Saw the Centrofix Slims on Amazon, shipped and sold by Amazon Germany with a huge discount. Bought 2 of them. I want to say they had 2 in stock when I ordered. I think they only have 1 left. If you do want them, I wouldn't say buy them though. Reason being, and here's how many DeWalt bits I have. I have like DeWalt Phillips 2s everywhere. At one point I bought like an extension kit, and they're like, ah, yes, with kind of like this, with your free extension, or with your extension, you get like a free, not just 4 bits or something, you get a 25 pack of Phillips 2. I'm still working through the 25 pack of Phillips 2. Okay, goes in without having to open the collar, watch. Boom. Right? Centrofix Slim. However, we proved this before. It is not very Centrofix. Quite wobbly. Very slim. Not very Centro. That was when one of you commented, hey, those are sold in the US under the Slim Fix brand, and they're $10 at Lowe's. So that was one of the first things that started this Lowe's trip. Or one of the many things, I should say, that started this Lowe's trip. Oh, I said I was going to use the Cobalt one. Oh, well. All right, let's take a look at what this says. Where is it made? Wiha, Werkzenberg, GmbH, Wiha.com. Does not say where it's made. This one says made in Vietnam. Designed by Wiha Germany, made in Vietnam. $10. $20 on sale, like a significant sale. Yeah, it looks pretty similar. There might be a slightly different color on the collar here and the collar there. Like this one, to my eye, is looking a little bit more purple blue. The etching on this one is a little bit more rough. I mean, that could just be batch to batch changes though. A little clipping mechanism in there. Let's get a little flashlight. Get my little stream pen light. I don't like that much. I like the standard one better, but it is good for little stuff like this. That looks very similar. The installation of the magnet on the German one does look a little bit better. There's a chip out of my magnet on the American made in Vietnam one already. By the way, that my hands just do that from time to time, guys. I'm a clumsy motherfucker. Otherwise, these look identical. So I wouldn't bother. I mean, if you want the German one, go for it. There's only one left on Amazon anyway. But yep, even pushes it out. Still wobbly as hell. Not worth the Centrofix name. It does lock these sort of impact bits like this, right? It does lock these a lot better. So I think these are really more meant for insert bits, which is why I'm interested in the Dewalt version right here. Yeah, you can see this one's already beat up. Like, look right there. You know, whereas this guy, a little bit, I guess. But save your money. Get the I think the finish, and I don't know if this is like batch to batch stuff, right? The finish on the front of this one is better. This has sort of that like bevel. See that? Whereas this is like directly to the edge and then over. Oh, you can see that. So there is definitely some difference. Is that worth $10? And I can't guarantee where this is made because it just says Wiha versions GmbH. It doesn't say where it's made. Oh, and they do intend Central Fix Slim insert bit. So they kind of tell you it's for insert bits. Impact rated 600 pounds, 1/4 inch, 2.6 inches. So it's a little bit longer than your 2-inch bit, but it's not as long as your standard 3-inch bit for the US, which is why it looks a little bit different than, say, the guts of this. This mechanism, though, bang on lines up if you look at that, right? But the butt is longer here, probably to make 3 inches. Or it's 3 inches with that on, right? But yeah, they basically just made this part longer for the standard US size. Probably could. I still don't get where they're getting that size because apparently that's 66.5 millimeters. That the length of the Central Fix or the Slim Fix, Central Fix Slim or the Slim Fix, really seems to not make sense. But yeah, I would say save the money. This is made nicer. It's twice as much. This is available at Lowe's. You can walk in and get it if you want this sort of thing, which you might. If you're regularly switching this, or you want a bit holder that's only slightly wider than your bits, this might be the one for you, right? It's good quality, nice and quick. I showed how that old Dewalt had the same mechanism in there. Like, it looks like it's potentially made by Wiha for them. So I got to figure out where I'm going to put all these, because I ordered 2 of these thinking they were something special, and it turns out no, maybe not so much. Pop that off of the side there. What do we got next? Oh, this guy. There's a reason why I left this. Excuse me. So, this guy right here. This is what we're talking about. I found this guy. It's on eBay. Only place you can find it. Has been made in years, apparently. Apparently, someplace on eBay has a fuck ton of them for $5. I'm about to go in there and buy 3 more of these. Because this magnet's chipped. I've used this thing for decades at this point. Or decade. I think more than a decade.
I can tell you there's only one listing on eBay. So if you want that specific DeWalt adapter that I have, buy it while you can. There you go. Boom. Boom. There you go. It is a DWA 3H LDIRB 3-inch, 1/4-inch hex. There you go. I don't know why they have so many of them and why they're not in packaging and why they only have like the UPC code. No idea. And they say like, oh, the picture is a little longer than that. Yeah, it's because the extension is 3 inches and then it has its little thing that goes over top of it. Yeah, I really like those. Oh, and I can actually demonstrate it. Hey, we got the insert bit. Take this, put it back. Oh, let's go 2x zoom. Take this, pull it back. Snapped like you heard. Take this, put it in. I just wasn't aligning the hex because you can't see it. Right, now it works like a normal extension. Pulls back, pops out. Works suspiciously like the Slim Fix / Central Fix Slim. Shoots it out further though. That might have something to do with the magnet. But normally what you do is you put this in and like these other ones are bit specific. This is any insert bit, right? Then you pop this up and I can get I have plenty of Phillips 2 screws around here. At least I should. Drawers and drawers of these fuckers. Where are you at? There's some. I don't want a silver one. There's a silver one. Okay. So, here's a PC screw. 632. Phillips 2. Normally you put like a wood screw on this, but this will work. Put this here. Magnet holds it. Just like that. You get it started. It hits the wood. This pushes back a little bit. Then the bit can protrude a little bit into the wood. But it holds it there for you. You don't have to stabilize it. The old school way of doing this is like one of these, where I tried to pull that, it pops out, super handy, super nice. Where you would take this, imagine this is a long wood screw. Take this, put that over like that, and you slide that over. And then as you screw, this gets pulled back. Right? That's the older school way of doing it. By the way, this size, nigh on useless. This collar, and you can measure it, this collar is 2 inches. It can't even go all the way forward. So if you take just take any old 2-inch bit and put it in here, 1 inch is sticking out. So that means the only time this specific collar is useful is when you have 1-inch screws or less, which is like the time that you basically do not need help putting in a screw. It's short enough. When do I need help? I just got weird chills probably because it's past 5 a.m. When do you need help? You need help when you have a 3-inch screw. That's where Milwaukee and some of the competitors now have finally made this big old bad guy. And technically, it's a 3-inch collar once again. The numbers only go 0, 1, 2. So just keep that in mind. This one's actually useful though. You can at least do 1.5-inch screws with it. Yeah. This is Milwaukee's version of the thing from Dewalt. They just came out with not too long ago. I don't think it's as good, but it's still good-ish. There you go. So that goes up there. Kind of like this collar, except it's got the magnet on it, right? And then that'll go up and hold the screw for you. Doesn't auto pop the bit out.
These are impact rated. You can tell it's got the newer lines for the newer, whatever you want to call them, the newer shockwave bits. There is no locking collar in there, as you saw how easily I pulled that out. There probably should be. Any good impact rated extension has this snap ring collar that's in there. If there isn't some other sort of locking mechanism, come the fuck on. There you go. You can see a little snap ring in there, hopefully. Or do I need to get the little light again? There you go. You can see a little snap ring in there. If you don't have any sort of other locking mechanism, that's what should be in there. And that is something that those Milwaukees are missing. So what'll end up happening is you'll end up, and that's what happens with this guy, if you're not careful. Whereas the Hiltis actually have that locking ring. What'll happen is this will end up being stuck in your screw, and or this will literally like shoot out. I've had that happen too. Like, if you don't have a properly done magnet, you can see the brass in there. This is a good quality extension. Some of them are just glued in, or if they don't have that brass capture, or they're not impact rated, is usually the case with those. The number of Irwin extensions that actually came with these bits that I have just destroyed because they're not impact rated with an impact driver. Because what ends up happening is the bottom of this, to get better magnetism, sits directly on the magnet. And you don't want that. You want a little bit of a buffer on that brass ring around there. And you go dug, 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 and you pull the bit out, and it's got magnet fragments. And you look in there, and it's all chopped up and busted. Now I had, because I bought a bunch of Irwins, a ton of those extensions. And once again, it doesn't break every time. So you might as well keep rocking it until you run out of them, until they all break. Otherwise, you're just going to swap them out and they're going to sit there. Okay, so we do need this one. Why did we go over how that one works? Well, because supposedly this is that. And I also saw online that this is available in that and that and that. Whereas it was big that Milwaukee even made this, effectively, or their version of this, worse version of it, available in the 6-inch. I'd love a 12-inch. I don't know. I tend to deal with things that are like buried. But let's put down the insert. Let's put down the little Phillips 2 screw. I should probably have like a GRK instead. But this is Elite Series. I don't know if that's like a new series or if that's just the Lowe's one. It did give me some bits that I will sort into my other bits. It did give me a Phillips 2. I do collect various Phillips 2. I debated buying the Spyder one, but I couldn't, like, they wanted $7 for 3. Maybe it was more than 3. But like just a pack of insert bits from Spyder as well. Like, they want some big money for their stuff. I don't know if it really justifies it with, yeah. Dewalt, I know and trust. Milwaukee, apparently, Ryobi designed the original Milwaukee shockwaves for the Ryobi, and then they're like, "Oh, these are too good. Here you go, Milwaukee." Yeah, this is supposedly, you can see, and I saw this on pictures. Here's the thing: most sales websites just show you this. How the fuck do I know what this is doing? If you just show me this, guys. Like, there you go, you're done. And they might take this as it sits and put it on the desk like that. One angle. How like, without me showing you how this works, like, I bought it, I'm like, I think I know what that does when I bought it, because this you pull down, you know, and they kind of showed this part, and then this too pull. It's got some directions on it, right? And it's got the eject logo. Yeah, but you didn't catch that originally. Whereas this is literally like this. So I couldn't even tell until I saw I saw a glimpse, and I'm like, I think that is this magnet. Now, sadly, this looks even thicker than the Milwaukee. But okay, let's try it. Let's try the Cobalt. Cobalt engage. Turns out new blade sharp. I'm not gonna bother taking the bits out because they're just bits. I'll just add them to the collection. I do have better bits, so often, you know, like I do have a ton of these. Before I go and use these as my main bits in my insert bit stuff, I, you know, if I have a better one, like, oh, okay, that's pretty genius if that's how that works. Okay, this just slides here, and then there's a springa in there. So what I'm thinking is how this works. Now, I can see issues with this. But this is spring-loaded now. That goes in there like that. This can go like this. Then when you want to switch bits, now I can show you where the bottom of this comes from. There you go. It's like it's a bit slimmer, but effectively that's the same shape. Yeah, Taiwan instead of China. So they probably use this base, you know, with this sort of chamfer here. Like if you can see they like even go a bit round. That's got to be for stress, like gusseting, etc. Now my one issue with this is, as convenient as this puppy is, because it kind of, okay, you gotta remember, I'll even use the new bit for it. This guy, pull this back. Technically, I think you can do it without doing that. Like you can push it in and then, you know, so you don't have to lock it back if you don't want to. It is just easier to get it if it is. This can't be messed with. So at worst, when this is in here, this gets pushed back. Like when you say run a screw too deep or you bump something, that worst case it does that. Right? This guy here. Oh my gosh. Stop rolling. Downside of this is you put this in here. Right? That can go forward. Let's try it out. There you go. That works great. Oh, let's put the screw in. Oh, it ejected the bit. So, you know, bits in there. But if you bump this, now the bit's out too. And this is much wider. There you go. They actually are opposite of each other, so you can see. This entire chamfer here is wider than that collar is. I think this is a better design. Now, if this is available, like I believe I saw online, in long ones, right? This is like a 2 3/4 right now. This is a 3-inch. It's available in a 6-inch, like over here. If it's available like this guy in 2 3/4, 6-inch. If it's available in the 12-inch, I will probably hunt down and pick up those other ones. This outer part, that's a extruded aluminum. Oh, does this come apart? Okay. I don't know why they did that. That collar must be doing something more than just holding this on. It's got the magnet in it. It's retained on the ass end someplace. There's a spring of a thing in there too. Oh, there's totally a spring in the bottom. I'm running out of steam here at 5:30 in the morning. I can tell you that I definitely shouldn't drink bubblers later in the day. Later in the day, the past 2 days, they have really kept me going. You can see the locking mechanism is that bar going across. They have used that in other extensions. It's only on one side, but then there's a spring with thing down the base. So the only magnetism that you also get with this is up here, right? Not bad, not bad. This is bulkier. And my worry is that right there, what you just saw, because now, I mean, it doesn't actually disengage that hard. It does tend to, like, that's actually seated. Now this is actually in there. I guess if you put a screw in, and the instant you push down, it would push the bit back in. Here, I'll demonstrate that as a 2x so you can see better. So say you did this, you shot your screw out, right? Now the bit is technically loose, but you know, there it is in. Now it's technically loose because imagine you've got your screw here and you go brrr, and you push too far and that pops the bit out, right? Now but if you put another screw on and you literally just start screwing again, watch, it'll put the bit back in. I don't know. Let's see here. If we do this, we extend see, the magnet won't get there then. So you're going to have to manually put the bit back in if you bump it. They've streamlined the mechanism, but they eliminated some of the redundancy, meaning in this case, yes, you might push this collar back that far, and it would work like a normal bit driver without the magnet. Now in this case, I'm saying this a lot, there's actually a magnet in there. There's a magnet in there because this is basically the central fix or the slim fix. Yeah, so it's got the magnet properly captured in there, and then it has this additional collar. So it's effectively this guy plus that guy. Look at the end of that. Those are very similar. Now what they probably found, or they're competing with Milwaukee, they need more magnet surface area. The surface area on that Milwaukee magnet is massive. I do like that it ejects the bits. The Milwaukee don't. You got to pull them out and they're not retained, so that's better. I don't know that I like that the big bulky piece. Now this does spin independently, so if it does touch any wood or something, it's just going to spin here and spin there, right? But it'll eject the bit. Now, once again, it does retain it enough where I don't think, unless this bit is like in something, like say it's caught on a screw or something, you would have to eject it and not pull it off. And it's in there decently well. So I think they simplified the mechanism, but this is a safer, because there's no way that this bit is coming out unless you do this, right? So yeah, probably ordering 3 more of these guys. Now these guys might go in the kit up there, over there, especially if they have the longer ones. Hell yeah, if they have the longer ones. If they do, Dewalt is directly competing with the fact that Milwaukee came out with a similar extension to them, and this is a file I can almost guarantee, because this came in a very similar pack to this, where it came with a couple, like, because they have to justify the cost of selling you like a $20 extension by giving you a couple bits, I think. So I am happy they remade this, because this is basically just non-existent. And they let you buy infinite of these on Amazon, it looked like, effectively. I don't know how they have so many of these unpackaged in this one place, but yeah. And mine's lasted me a good long time. A little bit of chip on that magnet there. But if I do get real ones, I've been saying for years, and probably, decade or more now, that, don't mess with power bits plus those little, these magnets don't hold on worth a shit. Pick up this extension and insert bits. Much more viable, in my opinion. Though the power bits do transfer, you feel like you got more control over them, if that makes sense. But yeah, I do think that this is replacing this, and especially if they've managed to make a 6-inch. Okay, now they're competing with Milwaukee, and I do think that this is better than Milwaukee's offering, because it does slide, right? But it also auto ejects, which Milwaukee's will not do. I mean, I say that. Let me double check you don't just pull back the Milwaukee. See, that guy fell out again. It's always this corner of this fucking thing. Gotta put just a dab of hot glue. Okay, here's the smaller Milwaukee. Yeah, you can't pull it back. There's just a lock. There's just a like lock ring, split ring thing there. You take this bad boy, you put it in here, and it acts like that's eject, but that's not eject. That's put the thing up. Nothing ejects the bit. The magnet on the Milwaukee, as I've said before, is heckin' strong. You didn't see either of the two Dewalts, like when they're in this engaged mode here, literally draw up to the screw like that. It's a real big screw. However, you gotta pull, in order to get it out, you gotta pull that, and you pull this out. What that also means, though, is that this is not retained with anything other than the magnet in the bottom. I don't know if that magnet looks to be brass captured as well. It does not look to be brass captured, so I wonder how long it would last down there. Maybe they were smart enough to mill. I think they milled a ridge. If you can see in there, but it looks like they milled a ridge, even though it's not a brass captured. You can see a little bit of a ridge on there, but there is no ring around the edge here, so nothing is retaining other than that magnet. Nothing's holding this in here. Now, I haven't had to use these on a project yet, because I use these. I'd have to use the 6-inch, really, is the one that I would really want or really use. I think I might have used the 6-inch once or something. I haven't had the Mega. Oh, actually, wait, my glasses. Where the heck did I put them? That's all I was thinking when I couldn't find them when I was going to start the video. Oh, it's so bright. Oh. Alright, we did not finish the video yesterday, and the file may be corrupted because the phone completely died. That's how long it took. You guys are like in the camera. We took? You took. Yes, it was I all along. TheProfosist. I sharpened some pencils. That sharpener does not work very well. It like sharpens it down to a weird cylinder. Yeah. I may look for a better sharpener. Oh, that was a good one.
we leave off? I think on these guys. Oh, I can actually say this. I used this today to put in 3-hole screws. It worked. You pull it down, you put the bit in. I even used the exact DeWalt bit. I mean, not that DeWalt bit. This other exact DeWalt bit. I don't know. Can you tell the difference between these two? There's one. But I used one of those too to fix a thing. I was like, I needed a thing, and this was sitting open, so I grabbed this one. And yeah, you kind of put this in here. It's magnetically retained. Then you slide that up, and then you put the screw on, and it does it because this magnet's so strong. It goes. When you do that, it should boing. It does not boing though. So I think I still prefer the older design here. We shall see though. We shall she shall by the shishorsh. See, it's out. It's already out. That is in. That is out. Yeah, my issue is the bulk of this. I mean, the Milwaukee doesn't retain the bit, but it doesn't actively eject it when you bump. Here. You know, say you pull this back, put a bit in, right? Pull it forward. When this gets knocked back, it doesn't actively, yeah, it's unprotected, just like it would be on this guy, right? But this isn't going to come out. Now it comes out. Whereas this would just pull out. Right? Or decently. There's 3 screws though. Short ones too. Like an intraless. I wonder with this guy if it's gonna, how often it's gonna do it. It's convenient if you need to switch bits like a lot. But I think I'm going to try and get more of these. So that's it. I'm probably going to crack this open. Well, this guy, because I don't have an Elite Series DeWalt. One of you guys in the comments has discussed the various different DeWalt bits before. And this looks different than, I do have a black DeWalt, but this looks different than even that. So I do collect Phillips too, just because they're the most common in the US. And I got like, I don't know, 12 different kinds at least by now. So this one's going to go in there. Yeah, because the other black DeWalt I have, see how this is still hex shaped? That's pretty common of DeWalt bits. Here, look. See? Those are basically the same thing. That's a Max bit, and that's a Elite Series. That's just black colored. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know if the Max Fit were ever sold as being impact rated, though. I sure use them as such. Because it always used to be that in order to be, not in order to be impact rated, but pretty much. So you can tell this is impact rated. See, it's the black phosphate on the bottom here. Same thing if you were to look at one of these that's not impact rated. It would just be silver or chrome or something. Yeah, so to deviate from that is kind of annoying. But yeah, as far as I can tell, those are basically the same bit. It's just that one has black phosphate coating. Whereas the previous DeWalt black bits I have, either they're like just, they don't have these notches cut out and stuff, like they're just hex material, or they're rounded, much like the Milwaukee's. So, interesting. We shall. The other thing is I still need to look up to see if this, now that I know this is exactly what I thought it was, right? Effectively the modern replacement for this guy. I swear I saw at least a 6-inch, if not a 12-inch version of it. So there be that. Let's just pop this temporarily back in here. Oh, and then these, what do we got? We got a Phillips 2, a Square 2, reasonable, T20, T25. sure, I'll just cycle those into my little drawers where I have them. Next time I burn up a bit, I, you know, because that's probably better than the max fit that I have a billion of. Maybe it's not. All right, let's zoom on out here. I need like sound effects. Come on, though. I don't even edit my own video. This video will have to be edited. By that, I mean I'm going to take both the media files. Oh, and by the way, I did recover it. I forget when they started. I think it was sometime in the Pixel 5 era. Might have been Pixel 6. They fixed the recording on Pixels where it used to not make a usable file until it was done recording, which was annoying. That was part of the reason why I originally went to variable frame rate, is just like when you stream, it doesn't know what it's going to be. So even if you have a set frame rate, it's still variable because it hasn't ended yet, effectively. But yeah, I was able to save the file. It's in there. If you ever have to do it yourself on a Pixel, or a phone that uses standard, like the Google camera API, APK, I forget which one it is. They save it as a .pending file. So you get yourself your Solid Explorer on Android, show hidden files for that folder, boom, bada bang. My recommendation, as long as you have enough space on your phone, is make a copy of it, then rename it, try playing it back. Once you know it's good, you can delete the .pending. In my case, it seems that Google has now added, when you open up the camera app again and it realizes .pendings are in there, it will make a .restored file. Like it realizes it failed and restored it. So I actually have both of those because I didn't realize it was going to do that. And I was like, why do I have two of the same video on here? And I'm like, looking at it, I'm like, that wasn't named that before. So, but these guys right here, these Elite series, I don't want to say they're exclusive to Lowe's. I might have seen them at Tractor Supply. But these were one of the other big reasons, besides the Slim Fix Wiha here, that Lowe's kept popping up in my searches online. Now, from what I recall, this is not this guy without this. But it's awfully freaking similar. To the point where down here, it even has the double rings. Ring, 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 ring. This does not have double rings. It's got a lot of rings. So, I don't know if it was shortly before or after this guy, where you can pull his collar off. They made a version of this that didn't have this guy in here. Didn't have this little notch here and didn't have this collar. I always thought this was the better one to get because if you wanted that, you could just take the collar off. As I said, if you do want this one, they are available for $5 on eBay. I think it's got like 25 left. At $5, I was gonna order 3. Maybe I order 5 now. I can give them to people if they're like, "Oh, that is an awesome design." I can be like, "Ah, I got a couple extra. Here you go." Because this guy's $10. Let's take a look at it. We'll use the Cobalt with a K knife. Oh, and yes, apparently, because it's the Elite series, people are going to steal it. The bits that are literally more money, though, or as much money, don't have it. This have it? Yeah, that has it. You got some little spot for it. Ooh, this is pretty chunky. Okay, let's grab out the Slim Fix. Come here, Slim Fix. Alright, so if you truly wanted a slim one of these, the Slim Fix on the right is considerably slimmer. Considerably so. And these are impact rated, where I didn't know if the Central Fix Slim was. The Slim Fix says right there, impact rated 600 inch-pounds, 700 Newton meters. Aha! So I figured out why this thing's chonkier. This is not designed like this one up here. Looks very similar. Not designed. I think previously they literally licensed or had Wiha make these for them. Because if you guys see that notch down there, see that notch? There's no notch anywhere else. So this basically only notches into one spot, one side. It's gonna be these guys here. Does it work without pulling the back? Sure does. That's pretty solidly in there. Does not pop out nearly as far. You still gotta yank it. Whereas the Slim Fix, a little bit looser, pops out much further. Let's do the test with the... Here's a standard Vera harpoon. We're just using it for this end. Does this lock in better? Maybe. Pull? It barely pops it out when you release it. That's kind of annoying. Whereas on the Slim Fix, that is weeble wobbly as hell. It's fine though. If you read, sorry, it's not on the Slim Fix version. It's on the Central Fix version. They have a picture of an insert bit. If you go to their ones that are meant for the power bits like this, they will have that on there. Excuse me. What this reminds me of, is what it'll probably be replacing for me. Like, replacing? What do you mean? I mean exactly what I just said. I had a 3-pack. Yes, you can see that these are used. I got surface rust. These are what I used Milwaukee. Oh, by the way, I oddly really like this short little Milwaukee guy. Find it super useful. There are certain bits I have that are just like, they just need a little bit more, right? Or sometimes I'll use this guy plus a 3.5-inch bit like this, plus that. And that'll get me where I need to go. See, this works. Me using all of these guys has jaded my brain a bit, but this is exactly how extension should work. It ejects it, you pull it out, then you put it in, it locks down and pushes back, right? Then to remove, remember you pull the bit out, pull that out, grab the bit. That's how your tools should work too. What's weird is Dewalt knows that their impact drivers are that way. But they're extensiones. So prior to, like, here's the bigger one, this guy, prior to this guy existing. And why do you say why prior? Well, because prior to this on the Milwaukee side, you either had magnetic non-locking, right? Or they just had the collar in them for impact rating. That would go into that little groove. Not this groove, not the yellow groove, those little notches, sorry. You either had, on the Milwaukee side, you either had magnetic non-locking, or you had, it would be magnetic non-locking or non-magnetic locking. And apparently those non-magnetic lockings are similar to the Central Fix. So I may try and track those down. Realistically, from what I've seen, the old school ones that are like more like a Central Fix are Milwaukee only really, they may still make them in the 1/4 inch, but they seem to make them in the bigger sizes for their bigger tools still. They are using ball bearings in here. There's one, and then there should be one exactly opposite. And no, it's a 2/3, 1/3. So you're kind of doing the Central Fix thing, except instead of having ball bearing, like 4 ball bearings, it's only 2. Now you pop this guy in there. Oh, that's another thing. A lot of, prior to this, well, not this Milwaukee, prior to this Dewalt, kind of, I have an Irwin, it's a foot long, very good for locking, but it only locks either power bits, extensions, drill bits. It locks them very well, but it only locks them. That was the other downside is, I don't remember if this was the case with the Milwaukee that was not magnetic, but a lot of them can only lock this size or this kind. Whereas if you want to do insert bits, you often needed like a magnetic, and it might have, once we started getting into impact, it might have that ring that's on there, right? These Dewalts I picked up because they were the first ones that could both take an insert bit, right? It's in there. Pull it back, it ejects it. And then if you take, let's use the slim fix here, you take like a power bit. Look at that, they take a power bit as well. You know, they lock in there actually pretty well. Pop it, comes out. Right? Now if we look in here, it has the locking bar. Nothing else. So what I think Dewalt has done is they have, if you notice, this is just a fairly thin, like this is pretty much the same thickness wall as your standard extension from back in the day. You know, this is an old Craftsman one. You know, like before Sears closed, kind of old Craftsman. And what they did is they made it a little bit thicker. This guy's definitely bigger, right? The Slim Fix is a little bit thinner than this older Dewalt extension. But they moved it from this collar that you can easily bonk. That's why I don't like the pull back, is because when I would be putting this, say, in a wall, you could bonk this and catch it and eject the bit into the wall. That's why some people, they're wrong, some people say they prefer, or that's the issue with this design, is that you put it in here, and then as you're pulling it out of the wall, you catch the back. It's still magnetically retained. Like you... Also, it's one-handed with this. You know, imagine your other hand's holding the tool. Whereas this... A lot of the older versions of this, by the way, don't do that eject thing. So they were definitely a two-hand operation. But I'm pretty sure this locking bar design on the corner has basically been adapted to what's in here. And let's crack that open. Yeah, at least this blue cobalt, nowhere near as smooth as my Tuck. But you gotta remember, there's 3 of them for $10. This sort of it looks really dry. Not uncommon. No, that one doesn't have it. I have some extensions that look like that have the black phosphate impact on them. Oh, I can show you what I used previously. Also, here's Milwaukee's Bits pre-shockwave, I believe. There you go. Not amazing. Still have some left though around here. So that is what I used prior to this guy. You know. Then I went to this guy. And then this one, these Dewalts right here. Sorry, let's back on out. So my main extensions went from this, right, to that. Then these went into my toolbox. Well, I wasn't doing on-site work. I was kind of doing, like,
I get paid on the side for on-site work and stuff. So these went into my toolbox that stayed up in my office. Nice old Stanley Fat Max. Yeah, and that's what I would work out of. And I have the 12-inch version of this as well. I have the smaller one. I always get all the sizes. 6-inch is probably the most useful, to be truthful. Then I went to this guy as my main. Never truly liked them because I don't believe they were actually impact rated, whereas these were impact rated. What did I use prior to this? That Urban one I was talking about, where it had a lock in the back here, but it only locked the power bit. So often what I would have to do is you would have to take, like, maybe not this Craftsman, but because it couldn't lock a insert bit, you would put a short extension in it, then you would put that in, because it would lock the little extension to the long one. I still use that Urban one from time to time because it is a very, very solid lock, and if I'm going deep into a wall or deep under or in something, I know it's not going to drop, or if I need to like extend an extension sort of thing, I'll still get that out. It's still a weapon of choice. But why did I go with these over that? Well, at the time, if you can see in here, Milwaukee was the only one with impact rated extensions, at least that I know of off the top of my head, that actually had this locking collar in all of the sizes, right? So that's why I went with, I have actually managed to hit some of this mag down there. I don't know if you can see there's like a little bit of shmoo deep in there. Milwaukee shock wave screwdriver bit Gen 1. Yeah. So the original shockwave bits were the ones that Ryobi made. These, it was kind of the opposite at the time for me for extensions and stuff. I preferred Milwaukee for the extensions because they were the only ones really at the time, because this was early lithium power tool stuff, right? We were still on that like NiCad to lithium transition. They were the only ones that made 1/4-inch hex accessories that were impact rated. I don't want to say only one, but one of the earliest, one of the first, only one that made like an impact rated extension that, oh, and by the way, I've said stories previously in this, I was going to say in other videos, now in this video, about what happens when you don't use an impact rated extension. Either your bit falls out because it doesn't lock into those little notches, right? Or they have not recessed the magnet or put it in a brass capture. So what happens is on the back of here, it just bangs in the back of the bit, tonk, 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 and you crack the magnet. And on a lot of those, the only thing holding the bit in is the magnet. So even if you didn't break the magnet, you would leave the bit behind in what you were working on. So I went from this to this to this, and you're like, oh, so you're going to this now? No, I'm not. These Milwaukee ones are still preferred for me. There you go. Pop that out like that. Now, what these are going to be is I kept a kit. This kit here stayed in my, it's right over here. I can show you. Stayed in my kind of like personal at-home in-office tool bag right there. That's that old Fat Max. It is starting to collapse a little now. I might have to repair it. There's my newer one. I basically built out the same thing. Those ratcheting screwdrivers really need to change. Those were basically because I didn't want to spend money on other ones that I had replaced mine at home. But in there was, actually in that front pocket where you can see the Phillips one, was the extension, the 6-inch extension you just saw. So these are going to go back right back in there because that's mainly just in the office. because that guy is almost always in my car now. To be truthful, maybe I should leave the Irwin, the long Irwin one that doesn't really have a home in there. Because it doesn't have like a 12-inch one. And I can kind of, that would get me by. Even if I just let it sit in the bottom of the tool bag if it fits. So in here, but where were all of these newer Dewalts here, right? They were right in this row here. Right there. And why am I wanting to swap them out? Well, in PC building, specifically, let me put this back in here so I don't forget to. Running a lot of the stuff. So much stuff in PC building and electronics is a Philips 2. That's why this thing's pretty popular with Philips 2. Because if I'm going to grab it and use it, it's almost always going to be a Philips 2. Now when it comes to PC building, if you notice, the one that's all like this one's got a little bit of surface rust from hand grease and stuff like that. But the one that is real bad is this guy, because this is the one I was using all the time for PC building. To get in a PC case, this is not long enough. Like the 6-inch, you need at least I shouldn't, like, often I want a 12-inch or 10-inch at least usually. So I put bits, both extension bits, like, or power bits I should say. Like you might take a Torx T25 or technically it'd be a T20, put it in like that. And you put it on the extension to get way in there. However, a lot of PC stuff is very, very tight. And also something like this would fit a lot better. It actually locks up quite well. Something I didn't realize, this is plastic. I mean, I realized that. Turns out there's actually a metal collar under there. I never looked hard enough. So the plastic is just looks like it's press fit around the metal. But with this, it's fat. So in a lot of areas, where I would have been able to get this guy, it's like fatter, right? This, you can probably see how much fatter that is. Right? That collar was hitting. So what's more than likely going to happen is these DeWalt ones, if you have these, don't throw them out. They're still good. Like I said, I don't think they are impact rated. So that was kind of one downgrade of me going from this to these. But at the time, these from Milwaukee did not exist. And these DeWalt ones, at least from my experience, were the first ones that could take an insert bit and lock it in. And take a power bit, imagine that's a power bit, and lock it in. So I switched to that. But then years later, the Milwaukee's came out, and they also go the right way, meaning bit go in, bit go out. And the sort of stuff that I am doing, these are also impact rated, obviously. However, the stuff I do when I build PCs, not impact rated, really. I shouldn't be using an impact driver on a PC. At some point, I want to do a PC build where you can't use a screwdriver. Or you can only use a hammer. That was another idea at one point. So in my kit that actually uses, with my impacts up there, this thing, this Milwaukee and that Milwaukee will not be coming out. What's going to happen is this guy is going to be going in the PC area over here. Which I do use for other things. Sometimes it's quicker to grab this than it is to grab that guy all the way in the toolbox, right? Because this is literally next to me. Takes that just fine. And then let's pop a power bit in there. We'll use, we'll use Phillips 3, just because. Phillips 3. Boom. And I'm pretty sure the reason why this, I think they actually improved the power bit fitment. As far as I can tell, it's the exact same mechanism in there with that single bar. There you go. You can see that bar back there. Bar's right there. It's actually a bigger corner than this. And then besides that, what they did is they moved it, instead of being up front here that you can get caught on shit, they put it behind, much like the Slim Fix here, right? And I'm like 99% sure now that their earlier attempts at this that look exactly internally like a Slim Fix, this guy, and then it had its brother that was, brother and her sister that was like that, basically, must have been on loan or license or something. This guy's also not getting cycled out. I'll buy some of those. This, if you don't want to, or you miss out on the one that I prefer, that's available on eBay. There's a limited amount, and there's only one listed anywhere. You know, this seems to be a good alternative if you are worried about the bit flying out by. See, here's the thing: we got to balance. This guy locks the bit, but if you push back on this, it ejects it. At the same time, the Milwaukee one that I used today that has a very powerful magnet on it, outer here, right? Oh, and this does not have a magnet anymore at the bottom of this. So the only magnetizing you get is from this is from this collar. Whereas in the Milwaukee and the old DeWalt, there's a magnet at the bottom for the bit, and there's a magnet at the top for the screw, and they work together. This guy, there's only one at the top, so you have to balance. Okay, what do you prefer? Do you prefer no bit retention, like it's not locked in, or do you prefer the chance of it ejecting the bit? I think I prefer this, but then once again, I think you still have more magnet on the Milwaukee, and the collar around it is much thinner. If you look at that. Right? Yeah. This was probably more expensive. Can't make them kiss. Smoochy, smoochy. You know. But this doesn't fit over that. Like it's pretty simple. Yeah, you can see. That's that bent clip. I really need more lighting. Let's try the headlight. Because I was holding that little flashlight before. Hey, headlight. There you go. No. The phone blocks the light. What if I wear the headlamp upside down? Put the light on the other side. Does not help. Oh, because it's pointing at the ceiling. Yeah, that's not helping at all. The mechanism in here, a little kind of bent piece of metal in there. Two sides, corners. Let's look at the Slim Fix, which is American. Central Fix Slim. See? Very similar. So. Yeah, here's another change. This under here, you can see better with this. The silver stays under there and the black retracts. Right? Same thing on the Slim Fix. Go to this guy. You can see there's a little pin or something. Spring it's pulling. So that's a different design. I'm pretty sure it's the same design as this. They just moved that spring or pin is doing, instead of this collar being to be up here, it's down here. And then I'm guessing, yeah, if you can see there's like a, see, there's a collar and then an extra metal. So that's why this is fatter, is because they need width. And you can see there's a lip right there too. So what they need to make this fat enough for that wire, that spring, to go down over here. If that makes sense. This is a better design than this is. That almost fell on my foot. That would have really hurt. That's the Milwaukee one. Another benefit of the Milwaukee, they make an 18-inch variant, which DeWalt never made for this. The 18-inch Milwaukee one also, unlike a lot of other 18-inch and 2-foot ones, gets thicker, like THICC, thick. I'm not gonna go retrieve that because it's big enough and long enough that it's in the. Hold on, there might no the 12-inch is gonna be in there, and the 18-inch is gonna be in there. This guy also got thicker when I went to the 12-inch, the old school pre-Shockwave Milwaukee. Still working great. What's interesting though is that this, because that's where I'm gonna hold it a lot, is tarnished. Normally on most of mine, this also tarnishes up here. Weird that it hasn't. And for those wondering, that is exactly where this line on here comes from there. Yeah. They're keeping their designs consistent, despite the fact nobody probably even remembers their pre-Shockwave stuff. I'll have to double check that I actually have one of these bits in my Phillips 2 collection before I keep using that one. Let's go take a look. We're going on blah blah. Where the heck is that air one? I used to keep it like just randomly in places. It's probably a good thing, right? Erwin, are you in here? Sometimes I just... Aha, it is. Okay, this is probably going in another tool bag if it fits. This is my first one. I might have been overcompensating a little bit. Seen some shit though, that's for sure. That's what I'm talking about. It's back here. There's no way to put an insert bit. In there whatsoever. Right down there is where I keep the 12-inch Milwaukee. Milwaukee. Use that a couple times. And we got the 18-inch. Look at that girth difference. Literally does not want to focus on what I want it to focus on. There you go. Look at that girth difference down here. I used to keep these way in the back like I do my extended drill bits. But then I would not get them and use them. Or I'd forget to. So now I have them right in the front. This guy. Do I have anything I can easily show? Yeah, sure. Here. 0.5x. There you go. Really? What? How does that not fit? Okay, well, I apparently did something to this. May have used it as like a pry bar and or a hitter thing too many times, because I can't get Yeah, don't want to force that in there. It looks like it just doesn't fit. Huh. Like I said, this thing's taken some abuse over the years. It also could be that those more modern bits have tighter tolerances. Here's a real old set of what point do we just leave off the clip? Okay. Here's a real old set of Craftsman drill bits that are quarter-inch hex. Some of these bigger sizes there might be Ryobi. Not this one though. Those ones. This one needs your replacement. Flip this up. Grab this guy. This guy fit. Nope. No dice. USA. There you go. Back when I bought those, they were probably the only, at least complete set of quarter-inch hex bits that were available. At least that I knew of at the time. And they only go up to like quarter-inch, maybe? I actually use them with my... I don't even have to describe that. It's in here. The OG Milwaukee screwdriver. Put that bad boy in drill mode. Plenty for holes that size. Most of my drilling actually got done by this guy back in the day. It's got a little bit extra marking up because I did bring this one on site because our company, when I did on site, was a Milwaukee company. So I could just kind of like borrow their batteries. I don't see anything wrong with this. Something's gotta be messed up though. That to me this looks like an octagon. Sorry, octagon. Yeah, of course it wouldn't fit if it's an octagon. Hexagon, sorry. Yeah, I don't... Huh. And yes, you're like, well, it looks thicker right there. Then over, yeah, that's the quality that Irwin made this with. You can see about the same quality on its ass end here. Good old made in the USA. There you go. I'll have to try and fix this. If not, it goes in the extra parts part eventually probably chop off the little mechanism and just use it as a steel rod. Womp womp. It's my pile of crap to do. I'm sure all of you have one of those. Oh, sorry about it. I forgot to turn off the dehumidifier again. Alright. But we covered the Dewalt extensions. Oh, I never... I bet you I never kept one of those Makita Gold Phillips 2s because they were so shit. I was just like, not worth. There you go. Yeah, I got one of those Milwaukee's in here. Let's flip it over and do it this way. There you go. See, there's already 3 or 4 different Dewalts in there. 2 Irwins, 3 Milwaukee's, 4 Milwaukee's, I think. Yeah, I don't even have the Makita in there. Those things burned up so fast. And I knew they were shit. And then I was like, you know, but I bought them. I bought them because they were, for the longest time, the only way to get the Mega Boost. Couldn't buy it separately. You had to buy a bit kit. And I used to always just keep them over there. They always look like those cheesy titanium nitride bits that you see a 3-pack of over there, and there's like 2 of them right there. That's what the Makitas remind me of, and man, they performed about the same. Minus they took like this giant chunk in the middle that they're like, oh, it's for torque. I bent the bits. I didn't know bending drill bits was an option. So what's about to happen now is this guy and this guy are about to go right over here so we can use them with PC stuff. Means they're probably not going to get all that much use. I can always come and grab them if I need something thinner, like the newer Milwaukee's if that head's too big. And you're like, well, how would you know if the head's too big? Well, you can see this has already scraped around stuff there. I think if you look at the 12-inch, it's even worse. I tend to stick them in areas, you know? I'm sure you've seen people with worse ones. You've seen people that are shiny. But if you're running into that a lot, you know, maybe these newer Dewalt Elite series are a good option for you. That locks decently. I feel like the Milwaukee's have less play. There's almost... Remember, these do have 2 ball bearings, so that could be... Let's play here, I guess. Yeah, I like this mechanism better. Seems more durable. But this mech is the same as these two are effectively the same. They've just uprated it for impact, and slimmed out, you know, so you don't have this big winga dinga up here for getting caught in things. What these are going to be perfect for, though, is putting in the garage, because they're perfectly fine. Yeah, you can actually see how much of this one gets beat up. Like, and yes, it's on like the back side. Oh my gosh, it never wants to focus when I have the correct light on it. There you go. Might be able to see the. Oh my gosh, I just need better lighting and a better place to do this. And see how beat up those are on the backside. But I've seen people missing. I feel like this used to be able to go much closer. Missing parts of this, and it's still working. Yeah, these were good. Never had huge confidence in them, like I said, though, not being impact rated. And yeah, this guy's real skinny, right? This guy got a little bit chonked up. This one's about the same as this one. Coming from these, which I'm very confident in, and you've got heckin' use. These go back to like when Milwaukee was introducing their 1/4-inch hex impact drivers, like lithium ones. These started being a thing. I want to say back then I still had my Dewalt, or not Dewalt, like I had my Craftsman, like black, back when Craftsman made a cordless tools and they were black, because I had the Milwaukee screwdriver that I used as a drill, and I just had the Craftsman NICAD in black. Held off getting a new impact driver until they made their first gen M12. I really like the M12 tool size-wise. So this guy's going back in the kit for upstairs just because it's plenty for the type of use that it sees nowadays. Just having an extension is better than anything. To be truthful, in the garage, these would probably be better, but until something about them fails, these guys fails out there, you know, and they're already surface rusted up, and because it'll get discolored out. You can see how much this guy's been actuated up here. I've this for this one, since he's went into service, I have mostly used the 12-inch, whereas with I mean the 6-inch hasn't been a slouch either. The short guy is probably my least confident one, because it's not even a 3-inch like this. It's like a 2 3/4. Milwaukee on their like previous impact rated pre-shockwave gen had a 2 3/4 and a 3-inch, which seems unneeded, but you know, hey, I'd rather have both of those than none of them, or like, yeah, the worst one. Let's get this last one open here, see if the material's any thicker. It gets hung up, right? And I can see why it's getting hung up. Do you see these mold marks? That's from the injection mold. Yes, even though it's aluminum, they are injection molding it. And you see how it's getting caught up on them. Those might wear down, especially if you put some harder carbide blades in there. Yeah, it was getting caught up right there. That's actually a really bad place to put that. It's a good place to hide when it's like this, right? But the fact that that can prevent the blade, like we were hitting it there, and it just, that's gonna nick you and just fuck you up. Trust me, it's happened to me before. With the tucks as well. I had I had the Fisker's blades in there, and they did not work or fit and work correctly. Ugh. So this guy any chonk here? Finger calipers say no. Eye calipers also say no. Is the smaller one just as chonky? No, because it goes straight to 1/4-inch hex. Up top, they're exactly the same though, much like those Dewalts were. So we'll have to see what happens to these out in the garage. I personally see these Dewalt Elite Series ones as the lockup looks exactly the same as those, but impact rated, it's behind here. So if you can get this head in, you're not going to catch this and get it to unlock, right? Because it's a lot like the Slim Fix. I think they learned that from their partnership up here, because the lock on the behind has these exact same 2 lines. Still has the down arrow, doesn't have the eject logo. think this guy had the eject logo, didn't it? No. I had another one that had the eject logo. Whereas this, I multiple times personally had caught this on stuff, because this will fit in. The barrel will fit in, and then it'll push that back. That's where I'm worried about this. But at the same time, these should be fitting just for putting screws in. So you really shouldn't be burying a screw in a piece of wood much deeper than that. Like, you know, you really shouldn't be. You want it like just under flush. But yeah, so these will go out to the garage. If I have issues with them, I'll let you all know. These are also all this sort of like press fit like this. Some of the Milwaukees are like that. The bigger ones, like the little ones, are like this. They're kind of just they shove a hex into a circle. Some of the bigger ones aren't, though. Like once you go to the 6-inch and up, the smaller ones like this are. But all of these, that's kind of one way you could tell. So you can see that that's just even on the 12-inch, it's just a hex shoved in a circle. That's kind of what didn't give me as much confidence. Well, they already weren't impact rated, but they were the convenience of not having to have a insert bit extension and a separate like power bit / extension. Or like I said, you'd have to take like a 2-inch extension or a 3-inch extension to 2 3/4, 3-inch, and then put it in like this. You take your 12-inch, you'd put in that, and then you put an insert bit in that. The fact that you don't have to do that with these was a big step. If there's any of these extensions that you guys think I should look at, let me know. I put these back. I am so used to these specific ones being right over there that I put them back. That should tell you something. And I use them there. Like, yes, they might have gotten downgraded where they're not being used on the huge heavy power tools, but these got used to build many a PC. Where do I want to put these for now? So these just gotta go out in the garage. I gotta make up a bit set for the garage too. I don't know what. Probably I have like a couple extra ones of these older ones that I'll probably have to use. Probably have like a row of power bits, then I'll insert bits and some extensions or something. These are gonna be what are down here. As when building PCs, they're more svelte, and you're not going to catch this. I can always come and grab them. Like I said, if those Milwaukees get too in the way, I could also see how you might want both, potentially. You know, I don't really think you'd. I can see you wanting both, but I think depending on the type of person you are, you're either going to go with this Milwaukee. They might make a newer, updated version, but this one's pretty damn well thought out. Or this Dewalt Elite Series, because I think the biggest thing that's going to get you is this mechanism. Depends on if you're sticking your poker in an area that could unlatch this, more likely unlatch it. Dewalt Elite Series. If you're need something a bit beefier, you're worried about that, and you're not working like, you know, as deep in things. I don't know. I've never had the problem with these unlatching. Some people supposedly have, but like, yeah, they don't even lock unless you have something that it auto locks. Like, and in order to release, you also have to watch this. It's spring loaded, not released, not released, not released. Oh, then it released, but it's still magnetically held. Then you'd have to put, like. Each their own. These are much more slender, so if that is a, you know, as you saw, I've used DeWalt extensions and Milwaukee extensions, then Milwaukee again, then DeWalt. What are all my little short ones in here? DeWalt, DeWalt, DeWalt. You know, what are all the ones in here, though? The longer ones. Milwaukee, Milwaukee, Milwaukee. And neither of those two make a 2-inch like this. Only Hilti does. I think the Hilti might be made by Vera, though, having seen the Vera. This is still my original. But, so we're not done yet. I know you're like, you've pretty much gone through everything on here. We got a whole other bag. Don't you worry. Ha 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 ha. I'm only slightly insane, you guys. Don't you. I can talk about this guy. There's one more item in there besides the receipt, which I went in being like, probably gonna spend $100. By the time I left, I was like, if this is under 200, I'm happy. And part of that was due to boom. Did I need that? No. Did I want it? Maybe. Do I want the other? This is a 24 piece. There's a 29 piece that has insert bits and it has power bits as well. Well, I might pick that up next time I'm in there. Will those become my garage ones then? Maybe. Remember I said I needed garage bits. You're like, but those are the better ones. Maybe. Let's take a look at this guy though. So they sell this as a small parts thing. It's like a small parts case. This is not the small size. This is the medium size. Right? I don't like the large size. Frozen Slate has a large size. He bought that for his Bosch kit. By the way, anybody else notice that Lowe's has barely any Bosch now? Is it just me? There you go. See? Come here. Oh, it's because it's not latched. Hold on. You gotta latch the top guy. I can latch the bottom guy to the top guy. There you go. Now this, they say snippy snippy. Turns out all the mediums, at least sold at Lowe's now, and that may be... Oh, look, they're cheaping out on the clips. This is when I just got this past Black Friday, which is only a freckle past a hair ago. I don't know where my watch is at the moment. Took a shower not that long ago and took it off the charge, and it's probably on the charger then. They cheaped out on the clipping mechanism. Huh. I mean, it's still intercompatible. Let's try the other way. Yeah, still works. So we'll call that an improvement. It does give my fingies more room, I guess, to operate in. This is what they were... I need to finally take that out. I need to glue that one down. Hot glue, people. Not... Okay, so you don't put any on this side. This is a single-sided one. The reason why they sold this as a small parts tray is they have these dividers. And they like expect you to put like screws in it or something. Yeah, no. I have enough extra pieces from other ones that I'm going to do that with it. Yeah. Basically, doing quick math, I could fit everything I have in here right now in here. You'd put the long guys here, right? And then you'd do double up short, because these are the 3.5 inch ones. You should be able to take another set of 3.5 and put them on this side. And if I were to put the 6 inch, they would fit there. You have to already have the inserts though. This does not come with inserts. It only comes with these separators and this sort of strip down the middle. They did show off using this half size as, and I can prove it closes. This strip down the middle just holds this strip in place, rather than like on this one where it's molded in, right? So you can't move it. So I'm guessing that gave them more, I don't know, interoperability changes. The other thing I don't get is, you see how they have notches on this side? Like notch, 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 notch. Nothing's wide enough to span this whole width, I don't think. Unless they have non-bit oriented stuff that goes in here now. And if that's the case, that makes sense why this strip is removable, because they would actually span more stuff this way, not just this way. I'm tempted to simplify this even further, because I do not need that extra space. What am I, one shy? I am one. I would have to leave out one extension or one bit. All right. We'll keep using this guy. And just oh, you gotta remember to yeah, worst case I can use this. You always build up my garage one. Oh, and what started me looking at Lowe's again? Well, we talked about I was looking for that extension. One of you guys said when I reviewed the Central Fix Slim that the Slim Fix was the same thing available at Lowe's for $10. I'm like, I don't really, I mean, we have a Lowe's within driving distance, but not like a place I would normally drive and or go to. Went there. I actually would like to go and look. I only had time to look at their accessories, basically, because that's what I was there for. I was there for those new Dewalt extensions, because I was looking at them like, oh, they look very similar to this guy, or at least the guts of this guy, and I wanted to see what they were. And then this guy was the other one I was interested in. All these are in their Elite series, which are basically, as far as I can tell, exclusive to Lowe's and maybe some other places online, like Acme Tools and stuff like that. So it was there those 3 long extensions, which supposedly they shouldn't have had the 12-inch in stock, but they did. They don't have any other sizes of this. So, but now that I know that it is what I think it is, I can look to see if I can get those other sizes. There was a bunch of stuff in there because I don't regularly go to Lowe's. This was on there. They carry a bunch of stuff. Dewalt seems to have started doing what Milwaukee has done, which is everything goes into their pack out thing. In this case, everything goes into a tough case. Now, Dewalt's tough cases predate, Milwaukee made mini pack outs that fit their, well, technically their 2nd gen pack out. Nobody remembers their 1st gen pack out. Because their original hard cases, which I have multiple videos on, I believe, on this channel. One of them is actually converting my Milwaukee set into a Dewalt case. and because it's such ass. So they seem to be selling like hole saws and a bunch of a lot of the stuff comes in this now. That's why this like hang tab is on here. And rather than this previously, this would have been in like a big plastic thing. Now there's just like zip ties that hold it shut, and then this hangs straight on the peg. There might be like a cardboard thing that goes over this. Yeah, zip ties go right here. See, zip tie, right? And this hangs straight on there. However, this, much like the pack-out ones that I bought directly from Home Depot, that I ended up, the mechanism is still not as tight as the Dewalt. I have many of the Dewalts already. The Dewalt is really cheap, especially if you buy it during Black Friday. You could basically get bits with your case. Spend $10 on a case, which is what this cost, and get bits for it. This was $20 filled with bits. Not those bits. Those are very much more expensive bits. One of those in there could be more than everything there. But this is a single-sided, which could be very useful if I just needed all 6 inches ones. These dividers could be useful in other, because it's the width of, here, take a look, take this out. Hold on. There you go. See? That's the thing with the tough case, despite it being like 20-something years old, probably. Maybe not 20 yet. Close. We're getting there. Because this case is, now all of them are yellow. Originally, this tough case was my first one. Tough case plus. I have the progenitor to this that's not the plus. It's just straight tough case. It has much of the same issues that Milwaukee had with their first gen pack out bit case, where like the outside of it is stupidly shaped for no apparent reason. Turns out the inside though of the first tough case, unlike the inside of the first pack out cases, mini pack out cases, they were interchangeable. So that insert, this one that holds them this way, is actually that old. Oh, and at some point I need to buy a full set of these. Probably next Black Friday, next Prime Day. These are super useful. These are the 1/4 inch hex step bits, except they are mini ones. Like this is just an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch. Last Best Tool recommended this. He's like, this could be an EDC bit. I don't know about that, but I do have those stubby. I did buy stubby cobalt drill bits, and I would like that's actually cobalt as well. I would like a set of the stubby cobalt step bits to go with it. I think I would have to use a case, one of these double-sided, because of how thick the step bit is, and only use one side of it. I'd have to figure that out once I get it. But yeah, for $10, I picked this up knowing that the way it's set up with these little slotty dudes, pretty useless to me. But hey, I got a new accessory for the tough case. I will probably take a bunch of my extra inserts, like this kind, and put them in here. The other thing is, like, I have this size filled out with all insert bits. There are some insert bits that don't fit in there. We could take her up a notch and go, because this is effectively the width of this way, plus a bit, right? So that would give me a bit more room, and then I could have all my insert bits in one container. At $10, they were just like on a hang rack. I was like, I don't immediately have a use for it, but the fact that it's a tough case and I have all these additional accessories for it already, means I could fill it up. Whether this becomes the garage bit set, or I use the Milwaukee ones for the garage, which would keep it separated better. I got to build out a kit for the garage that just at least has your fill up, like kind of like this guy right here. I basically need to build out a second one of these for the garage that has Phillips 123 square, maybe not even. Torx 15 through 30, 20, 25, 30. Some sort of extension in it, like this kind or something. And we have that right here. Boom. This will cover that. This mini guy. Pop that in there. These two can go in the toolkit, or if I have enough room. See, that's why the Dewalts previously were a little bit bummer, but then they made this size, the medium size. The large size, you can fit literally the large size. I think it either fits the small ones inside open like this, or it's this side, like they have a handle. That's a bit cumbersome for me. Also, even the ones this size, if you look at what Dewalt gives you, and if you get the large size one, if you look in there, it's basically just a whack ton of Phillips 2 and a whack ton of T25s. Unless it's something I'm using very regularly, where I might choose to put like 2 Phillips 2 or 2 T25s in. I want something more like this, where I have one of each of everything. One of each of everything. Now, you may disagree with me because you're on site or something and you don't want to have to, like when you blast through a bit, you don't want to have to go back out to your truck. Cool. Let me know which ones you would have doubles of. Like, I would much rather have Phillips 1, 2, 3 because I work on such varied things. And also, I tend to buy good, well, maybe not the first time, but, after I buy it the first time, I tend to pick up good quality stuff. And then I carry an extra one. Or, you've seen before, I might have power bits. Okay, then I got the insert bits. Then I have the 3.5 inch. Then I have a 6 inch. We got extensions. So, say we break a extended Phillips 2. Unless I really need the skinniness of that, I could just use an extension with a Phillips 2 in it. But you might. I don't know if I would stock multiples in, unless there's something that you regularly break, I guess, or use that often. I feel like you'd almost be getting to more like a job specific kit then. Oh, here's something that's crazy. This on most of these, if you look at newer ones, that's a through hole right there. That's the notch where this guy goes in. Right? See that there? It's not a through hole on this one. What is it on this too? I have one that's a through hole. I'm guessing they found the through holes break off. Yeah, let me know how you would set this up. I picked this up, $10. If you're already into the tough case system and you have inserts to put in here, I don't think what they shipped it with is the best. Like these little, they don't even go up to the top. You might be like wondering, well, why is it important that they go up to the top? If you're asking that question, you have not used these kind of boxes before. The reason why it's important that they literally need to touch the lid is what is going to happen in your vehicle or in your tool bag, or your cats are going to come along. They will flip it like that. And as soon as that happens, all that's going to get messed up. So I'm guessing personally that these exist to house something else, because I've never seen a single-sided tough case before that isn't the large, I want to say. But while I was at Lowe's, I saw I think it was hole saws in one of these with the adapter. So they might have created this and then, oh, well, we'll sell it now that we have it for stuff. So yeah, the other thing is, for me, I've had the tough cases fall off ladders. Not that I encourage it. Here, this thing's gotten melted by something at some point. I have some that don't, they might not line up perfectly anymore, but oh, I never finished marking that, did I? Interesting. I forgot about the backside. But there you go. You can see that if you set them up correctly, unlike that one's set up correctly, the big one up there, everything stays in place. There's something about this medium size up here and putting this style right there with weight. And the reason why I actually put these here, not these, is these are even heavier, right? And I wanted that closer to the hinge. Now, if you think about it, if I fully populate up here, though, too, that's going to become heavier. I may have to swap. But I feel like these long ones would fall just as easily out of there. So what I'm probably going to have to do is on the little corners. And I can see kind of why this happens. These are sitting all the way down there. It's good. You can put a dab of glue right there if you need to, and it won't impede. Right on there. This middle one, they're the opposite. See how they stick up proud? And then this sticks up proud. So I'm guessing that this yellow slots into this. And you kind of saw that on this one, where this ribbing in the middle acts as a seal for that middle bit here, because this middle bit's removable. So I may just have to put a dash of glue someplace where it won't interfere with stuff, because yes, it does get annoying when it just slips out. And no, this didn't come with all of this. Came with maybe 4 of them. I thought I might be able to tell by the texture. But oh, and they have newer ones. These fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have ones that fit 6, I think. Or it might have been Milwaukee that fit 6, or it might have been a newer Dewalt. They don't hold as well. So I think I stopped or didn't use those. They also don't leave room like this for extensions. See how there's like room between these? Or for something with a thicker collar. That might have been when I was using the Milwaukee. Because the Milwaukee one is wide enough to take the 6-inch bits, but you can't then put bits up here. But it at least fit them, but they were all floppy. Compared to this, that's about as floppy as you get. I have a whole video about that. Yeah, I was happy to get the single-sided one for $10. I may turn it into the one for the garage. I may use the Milwaukee ones for the garage just to differentiate. Or, when we talk about garage, I may put this kit out there, and I may get the other $30 bit. $30 set. I believe this set was $30, which the DeWalts go for more. The Milwaukees go for more. The Spyders go for like $50. These guys. If you want this kit, they go for like $50. Not this little 3-piece kit, but like the Spyder kit. This is Wiha. Go stack. Apparently they stack. Impact rated. So maybe I go and get that other set. Might go looking next week. Because something slightly annoying. How did I find these? Well, I made that whole big ticky about getting like sets not coming with Torx 10 and Torx 40. Guess who comes with Torx 10 and Torx 40? I literally almost bought a set just to get these, because those are like $6-7 a piece. That's half of this set. Think about that, just to get 2 bits. However, we ran into an issue. This set, if we zoom on in the 2-inch size, which is the power bit size, they have 20, 25, 30. Not even 15, which I use 15 a lot. So, yeah. In the 70 millimeter size, which would be 3 inches, I think, roughly. Maybe 3.5, depending on where it's say. I think that's 3 inches. 3.5. You know, rough numbers there. Actually, it'd be the equivalent of the ones that always fall out. There's a... Oh, for those wondering, you can get in, like, Home Depot, you can get a T25 in this link. I had to special order the T15. They're probably like, why do you need a T15? Well, two most common size for GRKs are T25 and T15. Yes, I use GRK. So yes, I was pumped when they showed off structural screws in black. Yep, so that's 3.5-inch bit. Right there. That's what this guy is. That's what those bottoms. 70mm, 3.5-inch, give or take. In that, they have, well, Phillips 1. Great. It's actually really uncommon to get an extended bit like this in Phillips 1. To the point where I don't actually have a 3.5-inch in that size in Phillips 1. And I had to go out of my way to buy a 6-inch bit from Klein. I think I probably could have gotten Milwaukee, but the Klein ones were much better priced. I probably think because they're breaking into that market. I don't even think they make that exact style anymore. That exact style is like meant to, like, imagine with the central fix to like act like a screwdriver, not really being an impact. Now they have more, like, they're the mod boxes that have more impacty stuff. What do you see there? T10. So not only do they have a T10 and a T40, but they're in the 3.5-inch bits. Then we got the T15, two T20s. They really are preferring the T20s. I would say in PC stuff, AM5, Threadripper, all that's T20. So maybe Europe, because Wiha, right? Also, Monticello, Minnesota. That's a state away as well. Interesting, all these. Now that's Wiha Tools USA. There's probably another brand that they're like under in the US. But T15, T20, T25, two of those good. T30, T40. That is why I bought this kit, is because they had the T10 and the T40 in the 3.5-inch bit. The fact that they have a Phillips 1 in there as well. Now I only have square 2. And 2-inch, 1, 3.5. Some of you woodworkers out there might be like, I need that square 1, not the square 2, not just square 2. This kit is better outfitted than most. Like I said, I was looking at, considering buying some Dewalt kits to get the tough cases. Also, I didn't own any of these Elite Series bits, right? So get some insert bits. Or maybe I was like, maybe one of the kits has these in them. Then I'll just buy a kit, because these are, $15, let's say. This goes towards a kit. Just the 2-pack of those. And that's why often you'll see me buy kits. Even back in the day, I would use up enough of a certain kind. That happens with drill bits too. And a lot of times the replacement, at least in stores like this, it doesn't make sense. You're better off buying not this customized one, but imagine this was a generic one and it has what you need in there and has a couple of them in there. You're better off putting money towards the kit because you get a bunch of other stuff. Sadly, you get a bunch of stuff you don't need. I definitely didn't need this kit. Look at that fat guy. By the way, you think the T40 looks fat? You think that guy looks fat? Remember how I said that this guy looks fat? Look at how fat that guy is. That T50? That doesn't look right. I mean, it looks like a T50, but it on a bit doesn't look right. So there's a very good chance, if I like these, where there's a very good chance of that, that I'm going to pick up. They have a similar set to this, which is primarily, like, these are primarily, this set focuses on the 3.5-inch bits, and then up here are some 2-inch. There's a similar set from them that focuses on the 2-inch bits and has some insert bits. Then there's another set that I would not need, I don't think, that focuses mainly on the insert bits. One of their extensions, it's not a Centrofix or a Centrofix Slim, or a Slim Fix. It is just like a normal extension. I think I had some nut setters, but like just the 2 common sizes. Like that first set, I think, is the most American set because it has like a mishmash of everything, which means you also have a little bit of nothing. A little bit of everything also means a little bit of nothing because you don't have, like, this is a effectively complete set of at least torques. And they laid them out very nicely, unlike freaking Dewalt and Milwaukee do. Torques, 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 torques. Phillips, 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 square, Phillips, 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 square. A little bit of extra torques, like, that's how I would lay it out. Sensical. Yeah, I'm hitting the molds up here too now. Like this might just be the blue one, but I'm hitting. Maybe you gotta wear that in. Just a lot of like, what do you call it? Like spalling or flashing? I think flashing is the term. Spalling is from pew-pews, not from molding. Yeah, there's a very good chance that I'm gonna go back to check out, especially if they have like a sale going on or something. Not necessarily on the bits, just in general, just see what they sell, like power tool wise. I just took a small peek because I had like 5 minutes before I had to check out. I was cutting it close after I was picking out, because there were, like I said, there was the dual extensions I was looking for. Found those pretty quickly in that area. Then found out about this Spyder brand, and I became interested. Then I saw the T40, T10 thing because Spyder had them. Then I was walking around and I found the Wiha, and when I found that, I found all the, and I'm like, oh. Then I put this back, put that back, grab, dude. I got this kit mainly because you've seen my other kits. The 2-inch I have in everything, especially when I added these 10 and 40 from Dewalt here. However, this kit in 3.5 is something that I don't have everything of. It's over-engineered, as you would expect. Come out relatively easily. No markings. What? No way. We've discussed this on Wiha products before. That's annoying. They mark the brand, but they don't mark the size. Unless I'm blind here. Also, I did see some individual packs, and they didn't have the translucent blue, when all of these big ones had the translucent blue. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that protector goop is for. Here, like, it's probably on the package. They're called Terminator Blue Bits. Impact rated. Yeah, they're like Phillips square. They're not messing around with slotted. Like I said, pretty much the only one that messes around with slotted is DeWalt. The fact that they don't say what size they are, that's... I don't know how I feel about that. The big ones do. They do in different places? No. Yeah, so the big ones say. But the 2-inch don't. Huh. That's kind of interesting. Let me know if you guys have used these Terminator Blue Bits before. But seriously, as somebody who builds his own kits out effectively, because I like one brand's cases, I like another brand's bits, or, you know, DeWalt's the only one that makes flathead bits. you know, or like I like the double-sided Irwins. I like those double-sided Milwaukees. I don't know if I can buy those separately, like that. If I was going to leave a bit on a drill, it'd be that bit. Or sorry, leave a bit on an impact, it would be that bit. And this is your classic drill driver bit, where it's got the flat. Like, literally, we're talking back to like 80s and 90s there for that thing. I haven't seen a quality one of those. That's like Shockwave Gen 2 quality. Yeah, these are definitely the most sensical. I can tell you, U.S. brands have already gone away from this because of exactly what I showed. When you have this latch here, this goes there, people force it, and they break shit. Remember how I said a more complex design was not necessarily better? Now these are not, there's no 3.5 inch here. It's not even locked though. What you're hearing moving to are those, which is not a standard piece anymore. Let's try the bigger one with double as many things in it. Not locked. So we have a little bit on the 6 inch. But I don't think, here, look at that. Those sag a little bit. Look at that sag. And this is what I need to prevent. Oi. Cut it out. And yes, I do want it extensions, bits. Or I could flip that, but the extensions are heavier. That's why they're in the base. This is overbuilt too, with its little spring thing in there. The fact that this is only $30, in my opinion, for that many 3.5 inch bits. And yes, they only give you 1 to 2 of the common sizes, but that's all you need. I don't know how to get these out, because obviously that can pop out and move, because there's all these holes on the side. It should be customizable and configurable. This one's gonna stay as it is though, and if I buy the other one, it's basically gonna stay this way it is, because it goes like 2 inch bit, 2 inch bit, insert bit, 2 inch bit, 2 inch bit, insert bit. I'm gonna give these a shot, and holy hell, like, now I build mine out to be even a bit more complex than this, as I got the flatheads in there, and I'm gonna toss in the T50, the weird, you know. But if you guys wanted to go out there and buy, like when they show on this box, where do they show it? Oh, it doesn't even show on here. It shows here. It's weird that it's there, not anywhere on the front. But impact rated and just Phillips square Torx. That should be up here someplace, instead of like Terminator impact bits, 120% more. That's where this should be, in my opinion. The 200x service life, interesting. Milwaukee claims like 25x, which is already like way more than Dewalt, who claims like 3 or 5x. They just gotta keep. Is that because I think on here they claim like, oh, as compared to standard Wiha bits. Does that just mean their standard bits are shit? You know. Also, 120% more screws per bit. How is that 200% 200x service life? So that means if it did 1 screw, it's now doing 200. 120% more screws. That is, if it did one screw, it's now doing what? 2.2 screws? You know, whereas if that did one screw, it's now doing 200. Don't believe any of that shit. Just use them. I'm interested because this impact bit set, it says right there, truly is. This is the first set that I've ever gotten that I could personally call an impact bit set. I don't like how saggy these... They're over-engineered and they're saggy. Reminds me of a Bosch thing. I think they do a similar... whereas, just for example, done. Yeah. Oh! Yeah, yes, I was remembering correctly. I can't get this anymore. 7. I wish I could have the 7 on this side, because I don't have any that have extensions. I may have to go on eBay and find some of these Dewalt tough cases that have the 7 bits here. And as you can see, if you have a slim extension, it still fits. Now over here you wouldn't want that because they'd all collide and shit. But like, yeah, if you have fatter stuff, you only want the 5. But if you are seriously just using power bits, or you're using the I don't know, these aren't power blades because those are a bit longer than this. I think they're like 190. I think they're 90 millimeters. So I don't know what they just call those. But I really feel like this could have 7 up here. Interesting. I might have to hunt me some. I just realized that. That would allow me to fit way more bits. And what I mean by that is, in this guy here, right? I need the width here for the extensions. You can see it down there how they can collide if you don't have, even at them at different heights. But over here, instead of just fitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're just skinny and long. I could fit 7 if I could get those inserts. All right, we got something else to look on eBay for because I have a feeling I don't have any more. I think I've run out of these, even the 5 ones. I wonder where I got a 7. It might be the same one where I got this. I'm just thinking. Yeah, and this is useful for those wondering. Like, oh, why don't you just put this in here? Well, an insert bit takes up this much room, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notches. This only takes up 3 notches. And if I took up 5, we'd be hitting my extensions, right? Because they're longer. So, yeah. These are Dewalt. Old school Dewalt. You can see these I've had, and I've not broken. I'm going to keep using them. I've had them as long as I've had an impact driver. We're talking Nikehead era Craftsman, right? So I do have newer stubby ones and ones that are Wobble or Wobble Plus. Those are like Titan. I've heard of them breaking, but they were cheap. And they were, well, the stubby ones, especially with the electric screwdriver, is super handy. There's a very good chance that I'm going to head over to Lowe's again when I have some time and get the, I don't know what they call that one. This one's called the Impact Bit Set. I think it was a 29-bit. Oh, yeah. I wonder if I can look that up real quick. Wiha TST. Oh, what is there? News. Burp. That's me resetting my graphics driver. Found that out out when because it would fix when I toggled the HDR on and off. Wiha. Sure, Wiha bit set. Nope. The Go Box, I was tempted. They had the Go Boxes. Go Boxes are expensive. They feel good, though. And they have the Slim Fix in there. See, look, these Terminator Blues, the Terminator Blue replacements, which is interesting, do not have transparent plastic. I don't like that. Transparent plastic's cool. I debated buying these. They had nut setters. I have the nut drivers that are not nut setters. They also have like inserts like this. They call it bit rack instead of a full kit. Go Stack. I gotta search Wiha Go Stack. Apparently. There you go, there you go, there you go. Boom. Okay. This kit, dumb. My kit, $30. That kit, dumb kit. This kit, good kit. Comes with, I thought it was 4 rows of power bits, like the 2-inch. It's 3 rows. Then it's 3 rows of insert bits and an extension. I would probably swap that extension for the Slim Fix that's right there. It would fit in the case. So I would trust it more. And you could put, in that extension, you can only put the insert bits. Whereas on the Slim Fix, you could put the power bits and the insert bits. Now, the one that I don't like here, this is a pretty standard Dewalt set right there. You got Phillips 2s in power bits. You got square 2s. You got even Phillips 3. That is one thing that Wiha did not bother with. You got all T25s. T25, T25, T25. There might be a T30 in there. Now look at DeWalt there. You got slotted. And you've got some other stuff. But it's like, you get socket adapters. Okay, there are no sockets in this set. You do get their new extension. Wow. Okay, that might have been worth it had I known it was there. I don't think I saw this one there, but because I spent $10 maybe on that extension, roughly. Damn, I could get another case too with yellow inserts instead of black ones. But you can still see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had a 7 insert one at some point. I wonder if it's an older one, because 7 is what they do for the insert bits up there. It does not fit like this stuff though. The kit's fine. That is what Wiha pulls off with this that I don't like. You get like some 3.5. You get like some power bits. You get some more power bits, and you get some nut setters and like this is like the American set here. If you notice, something's different about it too, because this set, and I noticed this in person, has the non-translucent bits, whereas these two, and that's how it was in person, have the translucent bits. Yeah, so this set I'm going to go back and buy. And I may pick up what does this have? Hey, Paisley. Well, hello all. We're going to have to be done momentarily because I have gained a kitten. What time is it, kitten? Ah, that would do it. I need to work in the morning anyway. Yeah, kitten? Yeah? Oh, you're purring, yeah? Well, can I finish this video, please? Oh. Yeah? Oh, you're kneading right on me. Oh, you want to see something that's freaking pointless? Oh, I mean, I kind of want the little case. Like, that's something on Black Friday I would buy just for that little case of bits that goes right there. But realistically, I see that as a waste of space. You're wasting a quarter of your case to hold another case that just holds a whack ton of Phillips 2s. Or maybe Torx T25s. But on Black Friday, if that was $10 or something, I'm going to have to check out Lowe's. See, they put the nice new extension in there again. For $24. And for, like, say, if this goes on Black Friday for like $10 or $15, get that extension, get that little case that fits with all the other parts, right? Heck yeah, I would do that just for that sort of stuff. This kit is actually very similar how I set up one of my kits, where it's mostly insert bits. They actually fit 2 sockets in there, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how much a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch socket would do me. Like, I feel like most times I would need, like, I don't know. You guys tell me. I feel like this case is, like, pointless. Like, also, this is not Elite Series. This is Flex Torque. So that's why we have these 2 are Elite Series. I don't know. For some reason, this is Flex Torque. Don't ask me. I don't know. But yeah, this is all over the place. It's got some 2-inch bits, mostly Phillips 2 square 2 T25, and that's about it. And some insert bits. You got the old school shitty extension there. That's not impact rated. Doesn't even have a locking ring, guaranteed. Then you do have an updated version of that yellow guy that's in there. That goes on their 2-inch bits. That silver guy is what would retain the screws on the. If you see a flash of light, that's Paisley's tail. Going over the sensor. And that's the equivalent of that. You got some nut setters. I have some random nut setters. It's just I don't know. It does a lot of nothing, if you ask me. But that other one, I'm mostly interested in this kit for that guy right there. Oh, and it's got the 7 insert. It's got the 7 insert. All right. So maybe you buy this one for the case. Right? You buy this one to get that 7 guy over here. It would legitimately help me. Because then I could put in here, not in the other case, I could put the T10 Dewalt and keep their ones in there. Right? I found one so they do still make a 7. Realistically, unless you're putting extensions like this guy in there, you want the 7 guy. So this is where I'm saying, I'd love, if it was reasonably priced at least, to be able to buy these parts. But if you watch on Black Friday, these are like, they're like $10 for the medium size, it's $20 filled with bits. Right? Do that. Though DeWalt is getting kind of cooler, where they will just sell you, looks like now, they'll just sell, where they used to be in that little, you saw that little like circle container that looked like it was almost for electrical tape. I almost bought this as well, $18. I didn't realize this little case went into the tough case though. I probably would have bought this to get that extension, because it's half the price of this is the extension. Just to get that, I didn't realize that was a tough case. That actually fit in the tough case. Now, here's where, like, they show this in the small tough case. Where that might be much more useful is in the medium or the large tough case. Think about that. I think it's a waste in this guy. I want to cram this guy with 7, 5 over here, and then my little you've seen my setup of that. But if that guy in the medium, like, I have some excess space in mine that I could easily fit that in. You could, and I probably wouldn't use it for bits. I have no need. Screws. Use that to retain like some common size, just a little bit. If you're doing PC stuff, a couple different size PC screws that are just in there, because you're gonna need them. Okay, this is good news. Here's where, like, okay, a kit of these is $13, and buy the $18 one with the extension. But yeah, that's my thoughts. There is I need to go find. Maybe I can find some of the black 7. See, this is even a 7 guy. But see what they have to do is, because it's an extension, a 7 nut thing. They gotta skip some. They gotta like place them just right. 7 up there as well. Looks like they're bringing back the 7. Basically, that's your claw right in my nipple. Ow. All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this super long string from my Lowe's haul, and next time I definitely won't have as much, but I'm probably going to go back and pick up that other Go Stack Terminator Blue Impact bit set. You know, what was the one that I just picked up? Do they have this one's a 36 piece impact bit set. What's this one called? I thought they would have different names. Name your things, people. Don't have just a 24 piece impact bit set. Call this like the impact driver set, and call this one the like something else set. You know, like I don't know. Ooh, I don't know if you guys see what I see. They have a T27 in there as well. Now that's getting rare. Yeah, I think those two will pair quite nicely. Where if you guys you don't want to build out your own Dewalt set between like Dewalt, Milwaukee, and these other various brands. If you just want to buy something that'll get you through most stuff that you are going to encounter on a daily basis, that doesn't include slotted, go buy basically those two Wiha sets and maybe a Slim Fix thing instead of the one that they include there, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a chintzy one. We'll see. I think you'd be good. You know, that'll get you really, really, really far. We're gonna leave it at that. Where Paisley has caused her claws to dig into my shirt and cause it to pill, and hopefully we'll see in the next video. In this case, I'm probably going to, since I already have to edit this a little bit, cut this down into multiple videos, because I think combined we're at 4 hours. Maybe this one will put us over the top, and on the other side, we'll see with 1,000 subscribers. Have a good one as always. Peace.